Today's episode of ContinueCast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/continueshow. Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, and MP3 player. Today we're recommending Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson. Be sure to get your free audiobook at audibletrial.com/continueshow.
This is ContinueCast.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the ContinueCast, the twice monthly podcast where we play a retro video game and tell you if we would continue or game over. Except this week, we're not playing a retro video game. I'm Paul.
Shit. Josh, we did it all. Totally screwed it up. I'm Josh.
Show's over.
I'm Josh.
I'm Nick.
Josh.
And we have a duo of special guests this week. Special guest number one.
That's you.
It is me. I am number one. President, CEO, and COO, and CFO.
All the O's and C's.
Oh!
Luke Brown.
Hey, Luke.
And I'm just Mike Sadorf. So,
Regular Mike.
wah, 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 wah.
And this week we're playing Bioshock Infinite.
Bioshock Infinite.
Yes. Mm-hmm. This is one of the newest games we've ever played.
Yeah, this game's only 20 years old.
It's only 20 days old. We played a bunch of new games at the holidays.
Fez,
Mark of the Ninja.
Yeah.
But were they...
Someone do the math. Someone do the math and leave a comment.
I was going to say, were they
And it's aside.
proportionally as new as this
came
one?
out, at the end of March?
March, yeah.
So,
Oh, really? Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Let's stop the podcast and count the days.
March.
That's a day, right?
April.
Second March.
That's 2 days.
So, yeah, we're playing a new game.
Uh-huh.
We've been talking about playing this one for a while because, Luke, you were saying that it was something that we had to play, right?
Yeah, it was really good, and I think it serves this type of format very well.
Yeah.
And the round table discussion,
The book club.
if you will.
Is the game about podcasts?
It could be.
Don't spoil me, bro.
You don't know the ending yet. Which we want to preface real quick. Don't spoil things in the comments, at least in this episode. The next episode, it's gonna be spoiler crazy.
Yeah, you
Well,
spoil
this
the
episode's
shit.
kind of spoiler filled, too.
Well, it'll have spoilers, but don't say the ending. I think I already had the ending spoiled for me, but
We will have some spoilers of the first 2 hours of the game.
yeah.
Right.
But I'm the only one who knows what happens, so 80% of the rest of the cast doesn't need to know
That's actual
good
math.
That's
your
good, real quick
your
math.
opinion on the ending of the game in this episode.
I don't need to know anybody's opinion ever.
No, well, I just
Come right at me, bro.
I know that's right.
Unless Elizabeth gets down and twerks like crazy, don't spoil
I've
it.
been listening to a lot of
Oh
bubble.
wait, no, but you saw that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
1920s twerking.
She's Charleston.
Charleston twerk. Yeah.
You know what's sad is I could totally see someone like Gary's modding
Gary's
her
modding
in
that,
and like
yeah,
twerking her.
That's
Yeah,
happened.
I could see her twerk. It happened. It
It's
has
happened.
happened. I know
Yeah.
Alex has twerked.
The
that's-
internet's here, so
That's like Rule 34B.
Yeah.
Any character will have a twerking Gary's mod made of it.
Let's dive into some vital stats for this game because I think we're going to need the full hour to talk about this shit because there's some shit to
Yeah,
talk
there's
about.
some shit to talk about.
There's some stuff
Holy
about.
shit, this game is good. Oh, did I drop the gun on
Podcast
Are we
over.
doing bumpers now? Are we gonna do bumpers?
I did a little quiet bumper.
Beep boop. Beep boop. Beep boop.
That's too good.
Vital stats.
Dude, you know, I was like all for us getting that soundboard, but
We don't need
No, we
it.
got Luke.
if we're gonna have Luke every time, there's
Brown on the mic.
We got Carl Winslow over
that's
here.
just a good investment right here.
No.
Carl Winslow.
What's his name? Michael
Michael
Winslow?
Winslow.
Michael Winslow?
Carl
No, it's
Winslow.
Carl Winslow.
Oh man, I was in Die Hard.
1, 2, 3, 4. What is that thing that he says? The
I don't remember.
Serenity Now thing.
I don't remember.
I'm mixing up two different things.
That's Jerry Stiller.
Very close.
Here's the
Jerry
thing,
Stiller.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna think of it. If I had my computer, I could find it.
So this game was released on March 26, 2013. We can count the days now. Exactly the days. Developed by Irrational Games, notable for System Shock 2. Have you guys any of you guys played System Shock 2? It's a
No,
fantastic
what
game.
is that?
Fantastic game. It's good. It's a
What
first
do you
person.
play
On the
as?
Mac, right?
You play as a spaceman's
Okay.
On the Mac, right?
for the PC and the Mac.
Shut the hell up. It's for the Mac.
There's Bioshock that they made. I don't know if you guys heard of that one.
Never heard of that one.
All right,
Um,
that's interesting.
There's a game Freedom Force, which is actually awesome. It's like a not turn based. It's like a action RPG with Silver Age comic characters. It's really fucking cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
I was a game that I stole as a child and played, and it was really good.
Whoa.
You stole
I
it?
did. I stole it.
You fucking. When did that come out? You better
Stole
hope
it.
statute of limitations doesn't apply.
Yo,
It's
Paul.
true.
The NSA is listening to this podcast. So
They know what's up.
You're right.
They're big.
topical joke.
Hey, girl.
They made Tribes Vengeance and SWAT 4, which are two games that I don't care about.
Man, these guys like shooting things.
Yep.
Yes, they do.
And notable individuals on the team: Ken Levine,
Who's
Oh,
that?
there he is.
writer and producer
Who's that
and
guy?
designer. He is
Wasn't he in the state? Wasn't he on the state?
That's
Ken Marino.
That's Ken Marino.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, Pat Morita was on
Ken
there.
Levin played Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, that guy's
and
really
also
good.
the lieutenant in... No one's getting this joke. That was Ted Levine.
I don't know that guy.
No, that is obscure as shit. Obscure as shit. Beep boop.
Oh, according to Wikipedia, this guy, his picture is like the Dane Cook of game
I
developers.
saw that, dude. I saw that
Oh,
today.
yeah.
Way to go.
I did
I'm just
see
kidding.
that.
I'm sure he's the nicest guy, but
That's Cliffy B.
Yeah, that is Cliffy B. That's
Just
fucking-
out in my Lambo, bro. What's your problem?
this is my gamer girlfriend. She's got a podcast of her own.
Ken
I
Levine.
love Cliffy B.
Cliffy's awesome. He was just on the Giant Bombcast, and he was so awesome. He doesn't hold anything back, especially now that he doesn't technically work for any company.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He just
Wait
says
a
whatever
minute,
he wants to say.
There are other podcasts?
Apparently, there's other podcasts on the internet. I stumbled upon one.
I thought we were like, fucking Terminator 4 and this shit up. Like we were the lone
We were
podcast.
Salvation.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we were.
Reservation.
What's his name?
I did not see that movie.
John
so
O'Connell.
Ken Levin, who was the lieutenant on Monk. That's what you're thinking of.
Jesus Christ.
okay.
Yeah,
so
run that bumper back. Let's get this started right.
so Ken, he's like the brainchild. He's one of the people that has been on Irrational since the beginning.
Okay.
He's probably the biggest creative force behind all their games. Really had his coming out in Bioshock because that's when he won a lot of awards for his writing and his setting and his game that he made. He was like, he had designed this incredible world in Bioshock. So he moved on and he wrote this, and now there's rumors that he's writing the Logan's Run movie.
That's not
Have
a
you heard
rumor.
that? Is that actually
I
happening?
thought that was like
The
It wasn't
Logan's
a thing.
Run movie is already a movie, and it's called Logan's,
Logan's
Run.
Yeah, hasn't this Logan's Run reboot been like in development hell for like 20
Yeah.
years?
Yeah,
It's being
been
rewritten.
It's been in for a long time.
Oh, I
but
thought they started it, and then there's like a chase down a highway, and
No,
then
that's The
Obi-Wan.
Island,
Okay.
Directed
Oh.
by
That's
Michael Bay.
Oh.
Same movie.
No, that's Mad Max.
Yeah,
Oh.
P.S. I love the island.
Yo, half of the island is really good.
Both of you can get the fuck out.
It's
First
so
half-
pretty. It's so pretty.
Dude,
Is no one else laughing at Luke saying
I didn't see it, so I
It's
don't
so
know.
pretty.
the first half of the movie is pretty good.
There's that boss ass Cadillac that Cadillac never made in it.
Yeah.
That's a real
yeah,
car.
and the concept is like, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's pretty smart, and then it just gets real dumb real quick.
I heard.
All right,
I
watch
know.
it. All right, now I'll watch it. And all right,
I know the ending, and it sounded pretty dumb.
No spoilers.
I'm not gonna spoil it.
they're
but it's
on
really
an
dumb.
island.
I don't remember what the end
I know
is.
what happens.
I know the plot. I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly what happens.
It's dumb. It's really dumb. But-
They fly in the sky to the city. Is that what happens in it?
There's
No, that's Elysium.
Carl Winslow shows up and starts doing sound effects.
1, 2,
and then he yells at Urkel.
Oh, nice.
No, but Ken Levine is working on Logan's Run. Then
I believe so.
it wasn't on his Wikipedia page, which is why I said he supposedly. I didn't
right.
know.
The most factual
Yeah,
document
right.
on the internet.
Allegedly.
Luke, it's a .org, okay?
It's .org. You can't lie.
Not just any website can be .org.
They're not trying to make money, so why would they want to lie to me?
If it's a .org, you
Even though
can
they
put
beg
it in
me
your
for
junk
money
paper.
every time I go.
Let's do one last little bit of trivia here. It's 11 hours to beat this game.
Wow, really?
11 hours.
It's not that long at all.
11 to beat.
11 to beat. 14 hours with all side quests. Which is probably just collecting.
11 minutes on easy.
Yes.
You can beat it in 11 minutes.
11 minutes on easy. That's
Can
the
I
speed
can
run.
I add trivia to this game?
Yeah.
This is the third game of 3 games that I've been on the podcast for, where
This is the best kind of trivia.
right
This is Mike trivia.
Jennifer Hale has done the main character's voice on.
Oh.
Jennifer
Who
Hale
else has she
is
done?
Elizabeth. She was Ballista in
Bastila.
Ballista in KOTOR, and she's
Yeah.
also Naomi in Metal Gear. Because the
Really?
second I heard her
No way.
voice, no, not Elizabeth. I'm sorry, she's Dr. Lettuce.
She's Lutess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elizabeth and Booker DeWitt are
That's
our
right.
new guys.
Yeah,
Is Booker DeWitt
I screwed up the women.
Nathan Drake?
No,
No.
It sounds just like Nathan Drake.
it's not Nathan Drake.
does.
It's Troy Baker, who will be the Joker in the upcoming Batman game, and he was also the voice of I can't remember the guy's name, but in Dishonored, the lead guy in Dishonored.
I didn't play that, so I don't know it.
Dishonored.
Second time I heard
Corvo.
Second time I heard Madame Curie talk in the game, I was like, "Oh shit, that's Naomi!" And when I looked her up, I was like, "Oh my god, it's Ballista!"
So are those
Stuff.
Madame Curie Latouche?
Lettuce. Say it right,
It's
Paul.
Rosalind Lutess.
Lettuce.
Lutess. Is that one of the 2 people that drops you off at the beginning?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because they've been very mysterious
okay.
this
They're-
whole time.
Well, let's get to that.
I feel like I'm watching The Prisoner whenever I encounter
Dude,
them.
thank you, dude. Stole that out of my
All right,
brain.
fuck this. We're talking about the prisoner for the rest of the time.
Yeah, let's talk about that Lotus and the Prisoner.
If you've never seen it, get high and watch it. It'll change your life. I'm not even kidding.
We
Get high
are
for 20 hours straight.
we are encouraging you to take drugs on this show.
If you watch that show on drugs, your mind will
Josh,
explode.
what number are you?
I'm not a number. I'm a free man.
Oh, there it is.
Or, or instead of wasting your time on 20 hours of that, watch the modern
100 hours of
classic,
Lost.
The Avengers with
Yes.
Ray Fiennes
Yes.
and with Thurman.
It's the same movie.
It's the same movie
It's the
because,
same
dude,
thing.
the end is so...
Obtuse.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the sport they play in The Prisoner? It's ridiculous.
Bubble Ball. I don't remember what it's called. I
Yeah,
haven't watched
I
this as a
forget.
teenager.
I remember before I'd even seen the show like at all. I watched.
It's like chess, right? They play.
it's
play
like
a
chess, but
version
with
of-
also those joust sticks from
Yeah.
from American Gladiators.
I never saw the Jim Caviezel, Ian McKellen one. That was, I think it was AMC.
Oh, I heard that's
Yeah,
horrible.
Was it a couple years
It's
ago?
not
Yeah, I heard
good.
it was not
It's
good.
not.
Oh, that sucks.
I'd like to check that out.
Yeah, I heard it was really bad.
Let's see.
So we're going to talk about The Prisoner?
Let's talk about The Prisoner some more. No, but whenever I encountered them, I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" But I was like, "Okay, all right, I'll just go along
We'll
with
get
it."
to them.
We'll get to
We'll
that.
get to them.
Some additional notes that I had before we dive directly into the game. Apparently, when I was looking on the Wikipedia, there's a 1999 mode.
Yes.
Is that
What does
only
that
in?
mean?
Is that like a new game plus mode? Because I don't remember
No.
seeing it.
You can unlock it in the beginning with the Konami code.
How do you do that on a PC?
Oh, that I don't know. You'll have to...
What's everyone playing it on?
I'm playing it on Xbox.
Get out.
360.
PS3.
I'm also playing on PS3 because it came with a free copy of Bioshock.
Yeah.
We all know now that I'm better than everyone because I'm playing it on a personal computer.
Yep. PC Master Race. Yes.
They got those in living rooms now?
They got mine is in the living room.
1999 mode was a mode they added in to make it double hard.
Right.
So it's the difficulty of games from 1999.
Which I don't remember that year being renowned for difficult
That
games.
makes
That's
as
just
much
their,
sense.
But you remember
their
the
way
great difficulty
of...
wave of games in 1999?
That's just their way of saying like it's retro difficulty.
Right.
So
Oh, okay, I
it's
see.
it's extra hard.
Is it
Right.
is 1999 mode play tested, unlike God mode from God of War? That was not play tested,
I imagine it's play tested.
and it's nigh impossible to beat. Completely RNG at the end of the game.
Yeah, it's like
Yep.
fucked up. Like
Yep.
it doesn't work.
And it's like, oh, thanks, I got all this way, and now I can't do it.
Oh, so it's Demon Souls.
Oh, dude, forget it. Different topic. Real quick, I can definitely see the strain on the Xbox 360's graphic capabilities with this game. You get that little fog of war that's like limits your draw distance.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to hop way ahead here and say when a certain building starts to come apart. I mean, that's in the realm of what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
But when a certain building
It's
comes
not
apart,
really a
it
building.
doesn't. Yeah, it's a statue. She says the building is collapsing now.
Yeah.
It definitely does not look as good as the trailers that I saw.
Oh right. No, this game is
Made for PC.
made for PC
Okay.
in the sense that everything is technically
I did something right.
everything is technically made for PC, right? But PCs.
Yeah, they're made
versions of
on PC,
games
yeah.
are then limited in their scope because you can't do anything that can't also be accomplished on a console.
Right.
But so it'll have better graphics, but most of the AI is all the same and all
Okay.
that stuff. So
Just the graphical capabilities.
Just
and
right.
the ambient people are a little muddy looking. Like their faces are a little...
that's just the art style.
Yeah, it's like everybody looks like paper mache.
Yeah, but I don't think.
I think it
that-
just
It makes
looks. It looks like
Elizabeth
that on my
stand out.
computer.
Yeah,
Makes it
Right.
really pop.
everybody that's not a person you actually physically talk to looks like that anyway.
Okay.
Right. I heard that 1999 mode, to go back to that real quick, and also I will say that Demon's Souls is completely completable with skill. It's
Paul
not an
loves
RNG.
1999 mode. Does anybody
No,
else-
I also heard that it allows you to the decisions that you make in the game actually, like every single thing that you choose, like affects the gameplay.
I already do
affects
that. It's
the
called real
story.
life, and it sucks.
Yeah,
Yep.
well,
How do you mean?
I wondered
I don't
about
know.
those. There's like those trigger things. It's like this or this. Like heads
I
and
assume
tails.
when you have like an option, like a head or tails option in it, that it affects the story, and that's what it said on Wikipedia. I don't know. That's why it actually.
I don't have this.
Yeah, Wikipedia didn't say anything about difficulty. Oddly enough, it said it affects your decisions are more decisive of the actual outcome of the game. That's all it said.
Interesting.
Something like that.
The decisions I think you're thinking of aren't.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
interesting.
Okay.
Like that very first one with the baseball.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, you
okay.
don't really...
That didn't matter because
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're sort of like.
Let's get
"Oh,
to that.
wait,
Yeah.
Let's talk about the
Let's
story.
Start talking about the story.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
what happens in this game?
there are
movie?
two things that I have written down here, and I guess we can get into them later. But the first one was controversy. Primarily, there's
Controversy. That's my bump. Does that help? Does that help, guys? Am I
great.
helping? Am I
That's
helping?
Good bumper. Good bumper.
the first one was the like sort of the parties that were insulted by this game, being one, the labor movement.
well, what
okay.
what happens in this before?
You wanna
how
talk-
do you get to that?
Why don't we, Luke? Because you know the game the best. Why don't you lay out
Yeah,
the
let's tell
story
us the story.
as far as what we know now?
Because some people don't play the game; they just listen to us
Yeah.
By
jabber
some
on.
people, you mean all the people who listen to that
Right,
podcast?
right. I would
You want
imagine
me
most
to
people have played
explain
this
the
one.
story.
Explain,
Yeah,
like,
what's going on?
explain
Tell me
what's
story.
happened up to where we played.
All right, so here's the deal. You're Booker DeWitt,
Right.
private investigator.
Okay.
You're being taken
Pinkerton.
to.
I learned about that from you guys.
Pinkerton. You're being taken
didn't know
Scary
to
shit.
I didn't know what that
a
was.
lighthouse
Off
by
the coast of
two
Maine.
people. Off the
Is
coast
it the
of
same
Maine.
lighthouse from Bioshock 2 from the first 10 minutes that I played of that game?
No.
Oh. Okay. That happens in that game, right?
How'd you know it was off the coast of Maine?
It
It
says-
says,
Oh,
it
I
says
missed
off the
that.
coast of
Fuck.
Yeah.
So you're taken there by these two strange people who you don't know. They're
Yeah,
having a
British.
And they got
conversation about
fucking
rowing.
attitudes. Can we talk about them for a second? Like,
They're just
Yeah,
very
they're
upper,
sassy
they're
as
very
fuck.
upper class scientists.
I'm like looking around. I'm
Spoilers.
like, wow, this is a cool looking thing. And they're like, is he gonna get the fuck out of the boat or what?
Being a couple of
Yeah.
massholes is what they're being.
Seriously,
Massholes.
Real quick, every time I go to talk, I'm so close to kissing Luke. I just want to kiss him.
Well, you need to get closer to kissing him because people need to hear you.
Yeah, apparently people have a hard time hearing me. So anyway, those two scientists, as we're rowing out to the lighthouse, feels like the chorus. Do you know? Is that what it's called, Josh? In
The
Greek,
Greek
yeah,
chorus?
the Greek
Yeah.
chorus, right? And that's what it feels like. It feels like that they're a narration of the subtext, or of
Right.
they're the author surrogate. They're sort of like
Here is what's happening in the play right now.
They're sort of like an exposition.
The invocation to the muse at the beginning.
Bingo, but just off. It's almost like they're just off stage. So if you're not really listening to them, you're not going to miss anything because you're being guided through the narrative anyway.
That's kind of how they are through the game, too.
right. But as you're
Yeah.
playing it, well, Paul, I haven't played the whole game, so
Well, no, but if you encounter them after your
Oh,
first
shit,
violent
they're
outbreak.
The same people.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
they
can
show
have
up- they're in that
I've
bar.
encountered them
They're in the
3
bar.
times and her one extra time.
and they're on the beach.
Yeah.
They're in the we stopped before the beach.
Well, I got to the beach and I'm like, what are these fucking idiots doing
Yeah.
laying on the beach?
They make you flip the coin,
Right.
Yes.
and they're also in the bar.
Right.
And so I mean, I guess if you're, that's not a knock on you, Nick. I'm not saying that. I mean, I guess if you're paying attention to what they're saying, it lends a little extra something to the story.
Right.
Maybe I don't know. Luke, you tell me.
So you're Booker DeWitt. and
See you guys later.
no, so but we'll get to them. So you go to the lighthouse, on the door, note, bring us the girl, we'll forgive the debt, right? You're like,
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
right, but you
That's a hero's
You're just
first.
thrown in, man. You're just thrown
Yeah.
in. They're like, bring us. You
Yeah.
go inside. Bloody handprints. What's happening?
Yeah.
Dead
Fucking
guy.
dead dude.
Yeah, dead
You
dude.
know.
Are you the dead guy?
You know, don't f it up, bro.
Whoa! You blew my mind, bro.
Don't f it up. So then you go upstairs. You ring the bells, and then for whatever reason, you actually sit in the dentist chair.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote that down. I was like,
Yeah, dude.
why would you get in? Like, this thing's emitting this fucking giant red glow that's going out like an aurora
Dude,
borealis.
fucking Close
Oh,
Encounters
Close
is
Encounters,
happening, and
yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get on that thing that's gonna shoot an anal probe up into my butt.
Well,
yeah.
the first thing I do when I sit in a chair is, are there handcuffs attached to it? And I saw that there were, and I was like, you're not going to want to sit in that chair,
See?
Booker.
I didn't think of that. I was just like, oh, they're gonna give me a nice little shave. I'm assuming my guy has a beard. I don't know.
I assumed that his motivation for sitting in the chair was since he was able to figure out, because it was oh so hard, how to undo the lock, that obviously his destination was to be in the chair.
Right.
So it's
Well, and he also
why would
says,
you- why
I guess
would
they want me to sit in the chair.
Why would a chair that would do you harm be behind a locked door that you were given the combination to?
I don't know, because
Right.
there's a dead guy downstairs.
He wasn't
And it
allowed to
says,
sit in the chair.
Bring us the girl, and we're forgetting the debt. The debt.
He's-
I'm assuming something bad.
He's in a different chair. That guy sat in the wrong chair. You're sitting
Oh,
in the
he's
right
in the
chair.
right chair. Okay.
If there was a guy with a hood on his head with a drilled hole in his blood everywhere in that chair, I'd been like, see y'all later. Have a good one. I'm swimming home.
So then you get in the rocket ship, boom, fly up, and then you
How
come down.
reusable is that rocket ship? do
Okay,
you
this
think?
is that was my
Not.
first question about the game. About like the, I feel like that's for specific people. That chair. That's
Okay.
not a delivery service for all the people who got there to Colombia,
Right.
or that
Okay.
or those or the people who populate Colombia.
It's like a one-stop shop kind of thing.
right. That's that's the
this guy.
express for
It's an
important
escape
people.
pod to the place.
Because-
From
I'd imagine
the
there's like a
Earth.
plane or a blimp service that
Right.
takes you to
No planes. That
No, but
doesn't
there
exist.
are plenty of blimps.
Blimps, yes.
Okay.
There
Would
Okay.
seem likely, yeah.
So, I mean, there's fixed wing flight, but not the way we
Right.
think about it now. Also, something else. So this is the first bit of sci-fi. Not only the lock and the rocket, but the rocket is very trip to the moon rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of like, this is how rockets will work. But it wasn't for like 40 years until Werner von Braun figured out, well, 30 years.
It's more like they thought like cannons would shoot things.
Right.
to the
And
moon.
Josh, he took the words out of my mouth. First thing I
Jules
thought
Verne.
was, why wouldn't it be a giant railgun, a la what was being prepared for World War I, that would fire you into the sky?
It kind of was, because you have that whole. I'm sorry, I was talking in my head. You have that whole lighthouse as the gun,
Possibly. Okay.
basically.
Yeah, you don't really
Yeah.
see
Ah,
what
that's
shoots you
interesting.
You
off.
assume. I mean, that was just like Jules Verne. I was thinking it should be a cannon. I mean, that's just me. It can be whatever it
Lighthouse
wants.
is giant cannon.
It could be whatever it wants.
That's what
It's a
Luke was
sci-fi
saying.
game, and they can just decide. I mean, they're fucking
Well,
pulse ion.
I mean-
drives levitating something.
Yeah.
So like
I
whatever.
mean, the assumption is, from what it looks like from what we've played, is that there's alternate dimensions and they're taking pieces of things.
I have
from
no
different
idea what you're
dimensions.
talking about.
Oh.
Paul,
Yes.
You saw.
if you
saw
ruin this
April.
game for me,
Slow that.
I
roll.
will smack you in the
saw
face.
it.
You
saw
found-
it.
I saw Revenge of the Jedi in French. Yes, I did see that.
We played up to Battleship Bay, and I'm going to jump ahead in the story real quick.
Do it,
and when you
jump
rescue her, she fucking opens another dimension, obviously because
Oh,
of
yeah.
an
Another
ambulance.
dimension?
An ambulance
Or-
flies at her,
No.
and everybody
Or-
wants
no,
to
no,
rule
no,
the
no.
world.
No, it's the future. That's what I assume.
Or the
It's the
future.
80s, yeah.
Because he says before
Same
you go in the
thing.
room, Comstock
Same
says,
thing.
"I've seen the future."
Alternate dimension and future, same thing.
Oh,
Not
I
necessarily,
thought it was
But
just
hang on,
Portal.
because that is not the first time you see something like that.
Right.
The first time you see something like
Is the
that
glowy
is when
thing.
when you get up to Columbia, and the only way into the city
Yep.
is to be baptized.
Yep.
When do you see it
By
in there?
Joseph Smith
Yeah,
and the Mormons.
dude, holy
Yeah.
shit!
You
thank
get
God.
baptized, and he holds you under too
Right.
long, and you black out.
Right?
Then you wake up in your office
In the black and white.
in the black
thing,
and
yeah.
white, and you open the door,
Yeah.
and New York is under siege
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
from what
The
appears to
airships.
be Columbia.
Columbia
Right.
is attacking. It's a weaponized city.
Goddamn fucking Colombians, man.
Yeah, man.
So then you finally get into Columbia, and then you know, after you're baptized, you walk in, you see everything.
Walk through the
big
carnival
floating-
from Chrono Trigger.
floating city in the sky.
Thank you for stealing my tweet.
and,
I know.
And then the
Paul just hit my arm.
the gist is you got to find Monument Island,
Right.
and that's where your only clue really as to this mysterious Elizabeth
Is
girl.
the arrow that appears when you hit the up button. That's the only clue where to
Here, Nick, I'm going to tell you this. Here's how you know you're playing a game right and going in the right direction. Did you find enemies?
Yep.
Right direction.
Okay.
Are people shooting at you? You're going the right
That's
way.
how I played Doom.
great.
That's
People
how I
are
played Doom.
trying to stop you from going somewhere. There's
Yep,
an objective
there
on
it
the other
is.
side.
Yep.
So then, Luke, let's take us to the first major plot point, the telegram.
Okay, so you're walking through the city, and then all of a sudden, a little kid knows you're there.
Right.
Hands you a
Mr.
telegram. Mr. DeWitt. And, avoid. Don't pick number 77.
Wait,
Yeah.
in telegrams, did they type stop? I
Yeah,
thought
they-
that was
yes,
just like
yes,
telegram
they did that.
reader.
It's
That's
typed.
how you understand.
I thought telegram reader just said that to know,
Yeah.
like,
No.
period.
No.
That's
So
interesting.
So also, what we're assuming then at this point is that wireless technology exists,
Right.
Which it kind
I
of
think you find a telegraph when you go to the
You do.
lighthouse.
Yeah.
You do it just that there's no wire up there, but
Yeah.
this isn't that Tesla sort of like he was developing wireless and the
Right.
radio and all that stuff. So
Right.
that's that. In my brain, I was like, I wonder if
And
that's
then
an
he kissed the
anachronism,
pigeon.
or if that was just something that they just
And the
didn't
top hat
think about.
appeared
I don't know.
over and over again.
Everything is there for a reason.
Okay, okay. So go ahead.
So you get the telegram, and then you continue walking through the city. The only place to really go is this big fair that you're getting led to. But before you get there, you also see a sign:
Right.
"Beware the false shepherd."
AD.
AD.
Oh, and you play a bunch of fucking creepy carnival games that like
play
are
some-
terrifying.
That give you mutant
Right.
powers, man.
Well, because you have to take out the labor force.
Yeah, the Vox
Vox-
Populi,
the
Vox
Populi.
Populi.
voice of
It's
the people.
The voice of the people, and they're the laborers
Mm-hmm.
in Colombia,
Interesting.
which
So
means the not white people.
The labor
Yeah.
movement,
Well-
which was
well,
insulted
let's-
by this.
Let's go back to that real quick. So,
But, God.
so I did no research about the things in this game or research about any of the tropes or idioms used in the game. I only used my brain power and the and the things I knew. So I'm trying to be like, first time gamer, virgin gamer, virgin experience playing this game or whatever, just from the information set I have.
Yeah, right.
Columbia means land of Columbus, because the District of Columbia is the gemstone of our country, and Columbia, she is the female personification of the United States of America. She's Uncle Sam. Columbia started to disappear, I think, in like the 60s when they started doing away with $50.
Yeah.
But Columbia is America. So the idea that this place is called Columbia, and he keeps on referring to the United States of America as the sovereignty, as like a separate state, that's interesting point number one, that Comstock, the founder of Columbia, identifies this as a sort of religious promised land foretold unto him by an archangel that is the personification of the United States.
Mormons.
Bingo. And not only that, but the founding fathers are mixed in with religious,
And Masons.
Right,
yeah,
that first-
there's three tenants.
Right.
Those
Yeah.
three statues that you see
The
are
key-
creepy
Right,
as
The builder,
shit, man.
the sword, the key, and the scroll.
Which is
right,
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
And so also what I think is smart about this game is, one, knowing that thing about Columbia, just because at some point I was like, who is this lady on the back of these $50? You know what I mean? Like in my
Right.
brain when I was younger, and why is it the District of Columbia? Why is there a space shuttle called Columbia? Why was the lunar module that landed on the moon called Columbia?
Right.
It's land of Columbus.
Right.
So
So
what do you think Monument Island is too?
exactly, and so she's instead of her being a human symbol, she's an archangel. So I think it's smart that the game doesn't explain that. That it's like, well, you
Right.
have to know that. Just like how it doesn't say the reason why Benjamin Franklin's holding a key is because he flew a kite in a thunderstorm. It doesn't explain that.
Right.
It's like this is an information set you should have going into this, and I really think
Or you don't
that's-
have to have it.
or you don't have to have it, and you just understand that it's like, well, Jefferson holds a scroll.
Right.
If you don't know that he was one of the authors of the Declaration
Right.
of Independence, oh well, I guess you missed out on that little
And
detail.
also, the whole place is like draped in red, white, and blue and stars.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
really hard to miss
Yeah.
how American
Right.
this
And
place
it's
is.
Incredibly creepy, too. Like, it's so... It's
like
such a strange kind of like walking around there. I'm like, oh my god, we could have been this.
Well,
Like,
we
it's
sort of are.
It's like a
I know,
religious
but that's what I
zealot.
mean. It's
What's
like
funny is
America.
we're like, I know we're like aiming toward that. Like,
But it's funny because it's the Tea Party was upset by this game because they felt that
Right.
they were being lampooned by
shit,
because
really? That's
because
awesome.
they
That's
believe
interesting.
in Jefferson and the founding fathers
are
as
these
being
like infallible?
these
father
infallible
figures.
father figures, and Lincoln, who we see vilified in this game.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a shame if somebody like firebombed a Tea Party meeting someday?
Oh my
What the
god!
fuck are you doing, NSA? NSA.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm just saying that would be terrible.
Would it be terrible if some sort of government thing that takes care of taxes like heavily investigated their thing? Current events. No, but I think that like it's so like obviously like the baptism is fucking creepy as hell, and then you get
Right.
into this thing where they're like these people like praying to these people, and you're like, oh my god, like
Right.
how fucking crazy is
Yeah.
this thing? And then it's just like Colonial Williamsburg in the sky. It's like,
Right.
it's just so fucking insane.
Well,
Colonial Williamsburg in the sky with ultra racist.
Yeah. Well, you don't get the ultra racism until like a
Right.
little bit
I thought
later
they were going to be like, oh, there's not really ultra racism.
Like a very little bit
Yeah,
later.
Right, right.
But like I really like the way that they like introduced like because I mean I've heard from Bioshock where you get like the injector thingies, you know, and they give you the
Yeah.
magic powers and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I like this because it's just like
It's soda.
Hey, here's this soda that we have that
It's
gives
Coca-Cola
you-
with cocaine in it.
Right, exactly.
Vic
And
is
it's-
in Vim.
Yeah.
and it's just like it's just like nonchalantly introduced you
But
like,
this
hey,
is-
here's carnival games
but
that
here's
give us
the
magic
thing.
powers that we do.
Right, but here's the thing. Jordan Stevens wrote in about this, and I agree with him. He says, in the original Rapture setting, the plasmids made perfect sense. The gene splicing and supernatural powers involved were directly responsible for the downfall of the society, and they were a natural part of the story. In Infinite, though, the vigors don't mean as much. They're only there for gameplay, but have about no meaning in the context of the world. Now,
I just assumed they were like some distillation of that
Technology
other
that was
shit.
being developed for the city. I
Yeah,
agree, Nick.
no,
Exactly.
But-
well, from the Rapture stuff, whatever that.
I don't know if these are interlinked
Rapture
in that way.
happens way later in the grand scheme of these two historical
Yeah, 'cause
places. 'Cause
Rapture
this
was
is like
post-World War II,
1913,
right?
And
Time out.
Rapture is in
I don't
the late
care about
50s.
that because
Yeah.
I didn't play that
I agree.
game.
Right.
Also
No, I know,
don't-
but I just
also
in
don't
my
care about
head
the
I
extended
just
universe,
hold on.
Only the movie I'm watching.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was linked to that because this is part of a series and that's why
Right,
and stuff.
but I agree
It's
with him.
like it's just like
It's sort of
here we go. How do we have magic
it's a,
soda?
It's a gameplay mechanic that doesn't necessarily fit in with in a game where everything matters. It just seems a little loosely
It
tied.
fits
into
in better than you think
I agree with that.
because
How so?
you're hallucinating the entire time and you don't know what's real and you don't even know if where you are is real.
Right.
So you're like when you take the crow shit, you drink the crow juice.
Murder of crows.
You get the crow hand and you like when you stop you look at your hand and you're all like ugh, and it's all freaking you out and shit.
Right.
And like but you don't know if that's real or not. You don't know if that's in your mind, just like you don't know if you're in Colombia or not. You could be dead. You could be dead this whole time.
That's kind of a punch out, though.
Well, but I mean like it explains like
No, I mean I
Now,
agree. With you.
hang on.
I agree with you that. that
What is real?
Before you continue along that like corollary, are you just using that because like you are trying to like rationalize how all these things are happening, and you like know there are things about this game that people said are like twisty and very interesting? So
No, I'm
I just want to know why you immediately jump to these things are hallucinations.
because I've taken heavy drugs before. Because
Well, not having played the earlier Bioshocks,
played LSD
right?
before.
Like not having played the earlier
Right.
Bioshocks, they're not.
Okay. Well, I mean, I
In the
figured
context of the
figured.
game, that's really like
But-
happening to your body.
But
the
this-
vigors change your
right.
physiology.
But this game is not real. I am not. This is a
Right.
game, and I am
Right.
watching a hallucination because I'm experiencing a made up reality, which is the same thing as
Reading a book
hallucinating
or
or
watching a
right,
movie.
or taking LSD. It's the same thing.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and it's totally valid. I'm just saying that in the original Bioshock and Bioshock 2, those things directly related to the game and didn't feel like they were just ways to get the mechanics into the game.
But
Right.
these do directly relate to the game. In the fair, it's explained that the scientists who are responsible for all the technology of Columbia, this is the new wave. This is what's going to make them, the Ubermenschem or whatever. I mean, I'm a little early with that.
It's very it's
I guess
very
it's sort of-
Mengele.
it's sort of-
it definitely.
It's sort of I guess this is before you see the fall of Rapture. Like Rapture, you see what the stuff did to people. So I guess this is sort of seeing what the stuff does. This is the
Again, no
beginning
idea
of
what
it.
you're talking about because
In Rapture's a
Okay, hold
fallen
on.
city when you find it.
Okay, before you tell me that, let me ask you this then: is this game the third in a series, or is this Bioshock Infinite? Is this Bioshock 3?
The timestamp they give you on this puts it behind.
Right,
all the
so
events
I don't have
and
to have
everything.
played the other games or know anything about
Right,
them
it
to
can
have
just
played this
be
game.
a
Am I
thing.
correct?
Right.
That's not directed at you, Paul. I'm just saying like I'm consumer X.
I think it's.
I don't know Bioshock exists.
I think it's more of a product of Ken Levine having written both these games and him exploring something. I'm exploring
Just curious.
I'm exploring the downfall of these scientific breakthrough, and now I'm exploring.
Don't
And this
spoil
one,
Bioshock for me, bro. No, I'm just
it's not that, dude, you find out
I'm
immediately.
just kidding.
It's actually kind of nice
That's how
'cause-
Bioshock starts.
Yeah.
That's like you said, like this. They're like celebrating this stuff. Like, hey, we can do this cool shit.
Right,
This
right.
is some great shit.
And then in
Right.
30 years, you're going to see Bioshock where the
Right.
shit fucked up.
So this game is connected to Bioshock?
I don't know.
Well,
Yes. How do you know yes? Because
It's
you
got
played ahead.
Bioshock in the title.
just based on the title. Based on the title, they're thematically connected.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
That's all.
necessarily. Also, there's alternate dimensions, so
Why are you so sure there's alternate dimensions?
because I see these things opening up, and I'm seeing.
How do you not know it's the future? If they're alternate dimensions,
And because
or
they
if it's
had-
different timelines, of where the consequences
because
of any
they-
actions that I'm doing.
man.
And
Mike
because they
must
had a
have
Beach
taken
Boys
that
song,
calm
they had a Beach
bad.
Boys song.
What's up?
They had a Beach Boys song
Right.
30 years before it was written.
That's the future.
Yeah.
The future.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not presuming this is an alternate past. I'm presuming that this is something that happened in the reality that I'm existing in now,
Right.
until the game tells me otherwise.
Right.
So, I mean, we're on the same timeline. If there are multiple timelines, then there's no consequences to anybody's actions ever. Another
I
version
agree.
of me could have a better life, and what would it matter if this version of me has a terrible life?
What I'm saying though is that there's a song in the game that you
Right,
hear
I'm just
right
saying it
at
has
the
to do
beginning
with
of the game.
time. You're saying
Yeah.
it has to do with realities.
It could be both.
Okay, I don't know yet because I haven't played the game. Have
Yeah.
you?
Paul's presenting
Yeah.
this thing that he knows about, like you were saying about like the Columbia thing. Like he knows about this thing and he's interpreting this stuff as this. You're interpreting it as this other thing.
Yeah, you know about time travel and multiple
No, I
dimensions?
said no. I
Yeah.
I said I put together the fact that I heard a Beach Boys song in
Right.
Barbershop Quartet.
And it says the music of tomorrow, today.
Right.
And then later on when Comstock says, I'll come back to that in a second too, actually.
And he's called the Prophet.
And he's called the
The
prophet,
prophet, yeah.
and he says prophecy is my wheelhouse, boy, because he's like, I've seen the future, and these tumors are going to kill me, but she will sit on the throne and burn down the mountains of
Right.
America and all that stuff and everything. So, real quick, speaking about the information set that I have, does anybody have an information set that explains who Comstock is or what his name means? Because I don't.
Comstock was a silver
Thank you, Josh.
deposit in Nevada, so I don't know.
I
That's
sort of
awesome.
took it as,
I don't know that. I'm
yeah,
serious.
the Comstock lode, it's like a really famous, like one of the biggest silver things ever
See?
found.
I think that's interesting when
And
they don't.
did you know all the coins are not gold? They're all silver.
Yeah.
They're silver.
There you go.
There it is.
Maybe that's him.
Silver Eagles.
Yep.
Thank you, Josh.
Yo, anybody else feel bad taking all of them? Because I took all. of
Dude,
them.
I think everyone.
I looked in the trash and there was like 40 of them in there. And I was like, who's throwing
That's
away
the,
this
thing,
shit?
that's the thing too. In Bioshock, you find shit in the trash and it makes sense. In this, it's like, why are you throwing out all your good shit?
They don't need it anymore, Paul.
Yeah, man.
It's such a weird like mechanic too. Like all these people are like wandering around the streets, and you're just like, "What's in this garbage can?"
Right, yeah.
I gotta
There's
eat
bullets
this.
in there.
I gotta eat this hot dog and take these bullets.
Right? I don't have a problem with that because it's like a video game.
No, I know.
What's that called? You were telling me that writers had a problem with this game.
I'm not gonna say because I hate it. I hate
Right.
when you.
What is
I
it
hate,
again?
Some
I
sort of
hate
cognitive dissonance.
ludonarrative dissonance.
Ludonarrative.
Ludonarrative
That's
It's
it.
dissonance.
the
There you go.
dumbest
It's the
thing
dumbest
ever.
bullshit ever. First of all, I've kicked like 4 people off of platforms. Second of all, if we're over the coast of Maine, who the fuck's gonna find those bodies in 1912 when they wash up on the coast of Maine?
Yeah,
Who gives a shit?
Jordan
Yeah,
Will-
they're not gonna know.
Jordan Willoughby wrote in and says, "Does Columbia just dump all of its waste from the sky?"
Yeah, probably.
Imagine just shit
Probably.
just falling
That's-
out of the
Do
sky.
we just dump all of our waste into the ocean?
Yes, yes, that's what we do.
Have you seen Joe Dirt? You know airplanes just drop it,
That's
right?
right. That's
Yep.
right.
True thing.
Yo, quick Google thing. Comstock laws. It says the Comstock Act, enacted in 1873, was a United States federal law which amended the Post Office Act and made it illegal to send any quote obscene materials through the mail, including contraceptive devices and information.
Interesting. So it's a twinge of fundamentalism
Yeah,
back to
a
the
little bit of
Mormons.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Very nice.
Don't mail any condoms or IUDs.
Or WMDs.
Kit LaFrue wrote in and wanted us to actually go on a little bit more about the religious thing. So you start this game off and it hits you as soon as you get there.
Yeah.
You're in that religious, like, you know,
You're in heaven, brother.
indoctrination. Yeah, you're in the indoctrination center.
You read the passages like as you're like
Yep.
falling down.
Yep.
You know,
Oh, that was fucking awesome looking.
Yeah.
it was great.
And then you steal all their money.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
don't need
Good,
it.
but it starts immediately when you get to the to the lighthouse, not the White House.
Oh
When you
no,
get to the-
there it is.
when you get to the lighthouse, the first
Yeah.
thing you do, you already are baptizing yourself.
That's right, and
before
you
even
refuse
get up
it. Yeah,
there,
yep.
because
You have to wash
you
away
have to
your
wash
sins.
away your sins, and it being a video game, of course you're going to walk over and push X.
Yep.
Right.
Like
Right.
push X to do thing.
Yep.
Like,
Interesting.
What do they call that in religion? What's that? Not baptizing. Repent? No. What is it called? Who's Catholic here?
I am, but what are you
Yeah,
talking
what
about?
Are you talking about?
When you reconciliation.
Absolution?
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Absolution and reconciliation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when you like resolve your sins.
I
and
was just
stuff.
curious.
yeah, but you got
Yeah.
all those home stitched things going all the way up,
Yeah,
and you get
yeah.
up there, and
The
it's
needlepoint.
It's an amazingly ornate church
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you arrive in, and what the first place you arrive is the church.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you go to heaven.
Well, and
you're
then
in
you see
heaven.
like
It's
you see
closest
like
we're
all
gonna
the
get.
Yeah.
You see all the murals of the people and stuff, and you know they come with like those tape player things, and you learn like a little bit then, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing the flock, and you're like, oh no.
Well, what's interesting is a big thing in like literature is that how the circles of life go, and that man is connected to the earth, and thus the animals, but it's a level above, and then the angels are a level above man,
Right.
And we can never attain that same like level as them. But what's interesting is they put themselves in the sky, so they're trying. He's almost trying to raise themselves to the level of angels and move to this next tier of.
And if
What is that? It's like Dominion powers throws.
Something
Angels,
like that.
archangels.
well, if
whole
he's
thing.
stealing from the future, which we don't know if that's a thing yet, but if he's
Right.
stealing, then
It seems that way.
Who's to say that we're not the angels already? And he's just stealing from ourselves?
Josh and I talk about this all the time.
It's so interesting already, like right off the bat, like just the setting of the whole thing, like the story of this guy who just decides that he secedes from America because of the way it's going and stuff like that. It makes like his own kind of like utopia, like literally in the fucking sky, which is like crazy. But it's such a good setting for a thing. I mean, it's like right off the bat, like I was just like enthralled by the like aesthetic. You know what I mean?
It's
so immersive.
It was like I was like, what a fucking smart idea.
Yeah.
It was like brick, like a fucking noir in a high school. That's
It just
awesome.
like you just like sold right away.
You're like it makes
I'm in.
perfect sense,
right,
Yeah.
right.
And this is my favorite period of America in terms of style, the Gilded America, which is just post-steampunk era America that is usually depicted, that Victorian America.
Yeah,
I know it's
Victorian,
sort of the same thing, but I love this like just prior to World War One, that look and feel of everything.
It's like the jazz is starting to come
the
through.
Style. I mean, I'm not all about like
It's got a little
what was going on with
steampunk.
civil liberties at the time and everything, but it definitely has a twinge of steampunk. But what I do know about Bioshock is that Bioshock is diesel punk. And I love diesel punk, and there's not nearly enough diesel punk out there. And I've always been like, there's Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow as far as movies are concerned, and that movie is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But the best diesel punk media I ever consumed was
Rocketeer.
Tailspin. Have you guys ever watched that? Disney's Tailspin.
Yeah, I've watched
yeah.
The show was fucking awesome.
That kid skateboards or surfs in the sky.
Yo, son, it's pure '90s. But I loved just the art and the material, everything that was like used here is fantastic.
It's almost like a big like it's such a shift from Bioshock, which is like cramped and closed in and corridors and stuff like that. And what's cool is they like immediately make use of that with like ships and enemies coming out of the sky. Like they're like it's not gonna be
That's
like
awesome.
the last time, because the last time you could see the enemies through hallways and stuff like that, and you see these big daddies coming in, and you could see like what was coming in the game. And this, it just comes out of the sky, and you have no idea
That's
where things are
fantastic. I didn't
coming
know that
from.
about Bioshock. That's all like in tubes and stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They
That's
do a really
cool.
good job of just like putting you in the character's head. You know, like you're on the ship, she's talking to you and speaking all this stuff, and you're trying to like take in all this information she's giving you. But then she's also giving you visual information too. She hands you that box with like the picture and the gun, and you're like, oh. Like in your head, you're just like, it's the fucking coolest shot effect, the editing thing. You're like, oh, gun, picture, kill.
Yep.
Yeah, like, okay, I guess I have to kill her. But then, like, you like just like you feel like a detective. Like I started like doing like
You are a
detective
detective,
thing.
yeah.
That's what I mean. It just puts you in that mindset because like you go, I see like the bloody hammer. I'm like, oh fuck, bloody handprint, shit. And then you go up and you see like the dead guy, and you're like, oh fuck, dead guy. And then I'm like, there's a lit cigarette still here. That means somebody was here within the past 20 minutes. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, because I fucking know how long it takes for a fucking cigarette to go down. You know what I mean? So I'm fucking
Kojak's on your
I was like, dude, I'm ready to do some Chinatown shit. What's up? Stopwatches under tires.
You gotta watch that.
But like, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna explore. And then I don't want to get into like a Nick hates first person shooter.
I wanted to ask you about
But then the
that.
gun started coming out, and I was like, oh, well, never mind.
Oh,
anymore.
someone wrote in. Hold on, let me look at this up because I knew you would like to hear this. Who was it? It was.
If you need a second, I can throw something to Nick.
No.
Okay.
Actually, Brian Conley wrote in.
Hey, Brian Conley.
And he said, "Do you think it would have been better as an atmospheric kind of adventure game instead of a first-person shooter?"
Been fucking amazing.
Well, they
like
kind of
that.
do that in moments because, like,
It
the
is.
very beginning of the game is like you don't shoot for so long unless
Yeah.
you go up to the
I want
game
more
and
of
start shooting
that.
stuff.
It's a point-and-click adventure. It just rub your cursor on everything and see what works. That's
Yeah,
what I do.
that's what I want. I want to learn about the world. You know,
right.
when the guys come, I'm just like, oh yeah, shoot that guy, shoot that guy, shoot that guy. Okay, what else can I look at? And
I
explore
know
and
you're playing
learn
on-
about the world. You know,
I'm sorry. I know you're playing on easy to make it even easier.
right?
When you have your machine gun, just double tap the trigger.
Yeah.
Because the first round, every time the machine gun resets, is a direct hit.
Right.
And so most enemies won't take more than 3 hits. So if you just tap the
Yeah,
trigger,
click it,
they'll die
yeah.
right away, and you'll have infinite amount of ammo.
Sweet.
I don't know if that was intentional on the game's part. I'm guessing
It
not.
has a
like
light. It has like a light auto.
Yeah,
If
can
you
do,
auto,
like, the
it'll
auto
just-
thing.
Yeah, but you auto
Yeah.
shoot
It
just
everywhere. Like, I mean,
recoils.
just,
No,
just from
I
having
meant tracking. Like,
Yeah, it has like
Oh,
a, like
yeah,
a,
yeah.
like
I just
a
meant like from having
easy
it play
target
first-person
thing.
shooters on
Oh, I
consoles
don't have
before and
that.
everything.
I
I was
don't
like,
get that.
I wonder
Yeah, it's in the
if
settings
you...
thing.
Oh, I didn't turn it on.
real quick, has anybody else noticed what the gun sound effects are from?
I don't know.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. Yep.
cool.
That
Are they?
that Luger? It's got to be, or it's some
The
close
machine gun,
approximation. Yeah,
it's
it's like a typewriter,
Yeah.
and that gun, how hollow and dense
Yeah.
at the same time. It's like a dense sound, and then it's got that echoey,
They
far
probably
away
did
hollow.
that on
Oh,
purpose.
Yeah,
it's so
it's cool.
great.
It's a good time period.
Like when Indiana shoots the 3 Nazis and they all split, that
Yeah.
Luger sound, that's like every time I shoot, I'm like, oh, I just want 3 of them to fall down at the same time. It's so great.
Yeah.
So-
But I mean, I love that dynamic. I just love the exploring part because the world is so interesting. For me, like, the interesting part is the world and the setting and stuff. The least interesting part is, like, the shooting part.
Well, it's
for
funny.
me.
We should probably talk about the excessive violence because that's another controversy that surrounded this game. The first set of controversies were immediately because before the game even came out, he was announcing the Vox Populi, the what are they? The Colombians or what's their other name? They have
Black people. That's what you're saying.
Oh yeah. That's
The
it.
black people.
The labor people.
No. The Colombians have another name too. I forget what it is, but anyways, the people that were the Colombians, like those upstanding patriots,
Right.
he like released them, and people were like, that's the Tea Party, and they got all upset. And then he released the Vox Populi, and that was during or around the whatchamacallit, Occupy Wall Street movement, and people and
which
that
he admitted influenced
what he was doing.
influenced
Yeah.
what was
That's
happening.
interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, and so they got all upset about that. But another controversy that a lot of
That's
people,
the first time that's ever happened in this country.
absolutely, yeah.
Paul, there's a burning flag on the cover.
But the thing is, there was a lot of stuff coming up around the violence because
It's not any more violent than anything.
I don't know. I mean, it isn't any more violent than most other
Josh is
games.
right. Just the dichotomy between when it's not violent
It's
and
the
when
time.
it is
It's the
violent.
time period confuses you because in
it's-
your head you're like things weren't that violent in 1912.
Absolutely, yeah.
They were.
But the very first moment of violence in the game, you jam that thing into that dude's head.
Oh, yeah.
like right.
Yeah,
like,
that was
But
kind of
I think
surprising.
that's the-
that was
I think
pretty
that's
like
the point.
surprising. It was like
That's the point.
that's
So,
what, and that's what a lot of writers were saying. I think that's childish. I think
Adolescent.
I think it's very adolescent to be like, look at this innocence. Like, okay, we didn't need that. I got the same.
I don't know.
No, I got the same emotional impact when I saw the innocent, idyllic world, and then they reveal the racism right there.
which is literally behind a curtain.
Yeah, literally behind a curtain. But I got the emotional impact of, oh, there's a seedy underbelly.
Well, that's just your
Yeah.
opinion, man. Well, I mean, like, what's more offensive, violence or racism? That's an opinion.
It's funny too because
no, I know. But
I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Like, I didn't.
Is this a?
I kind of agree with Paul. It's like, dude, you could have said so much more if that was the spectacle,
Right.
and that was the thing. Without like,
So what? How do you feel about history of violence?
Right.
I think violence has been terrible all throughout history.
No.
Thank you for not knowing my reference.
The
No, I
the
know
movie.
you're- I know
The
you're talking.
movie.
I know. I was just joking too.
My-
So
my-
no. I'm asking you seriously. How do you feel about that?
What,
You
the
watch
movie?
20 minutes of movie and then all of a sudden somebody gets a carafe of coffee.
No, there's nothing wrong with violence. But what Paul's
No,
saying,
I'm
Paul's
not saying the violence. I'm saying that moment, that shocking moment in the movie where it reveals to you what people are capable of.
Right.
It's a regular guy behind the counter in a diner. Some dude comes in and threatens him
No, I
and everybody in
understand.
there,
What
and he
Paul's saying-
smashes glass against his face
Yeah.
and rips his jaw.
And
No,
I'm
I
just
understand.
saying, yeah. What I said was, if that's really if that's like the point he was trying to make at that moment, I think he undercut the point he already made.
Right.
I think he made it twice in a row, and it was just like, I don't need it.
What if
Oh, I
there's
thought
a-
that he like simplified like. I don't know. It's just like, hey, this violent shit is happening, and then it's just like, let's fucking solve it with fucking violence. Or
Right,
not
yeah.
violence. It's like there's like this racist shit is happening, and like fucking violence will solve this shit.
Right, yeah,
You know?
exactly.
That's how this.
I know.
civil
I know.
rights
It's
movement
it's a video game, and I know it's
No,
like
no,
all
not
this stuff.
not a
It's
video
just-
game. That's how it happened in real life. That's how
Yeah.
the civil rights movement went.
No, I think
I know. Well, I know
I-
it happened in the sky, but I'm just
What I'm
saying,
saying-
like, there's another way to figure it out. You know,
I think
No, in real life,
I
this
understand.
is what
Mike.
happened.
I understand.
what I think it is just like that is literally the moment where everything begins
To unravel.
to well, not just
It's
that,
the-
but like
it's the-
that's
the change.
that's the switch that now
Right.
it's a shooter.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
That's the point
That's
of
the
it.
moment, and
Right.
that's the key point.
Right.
And I'll say this though, I don't hate that Bioshock games are first-person shooters, but there is a better way to tell this story than by putting it in an FPS.
Right.
Like an FPS is just the chain it's still tied to because the first one
Right.
was, and it was a big success.
Okay.
And System Shock was.
And System Shock,
yeah.
So to me, it's part of the game's thing, and that's the genre it fits into, and I think a lot of the extra credit that the game gets is because it's so heady for the genre.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And that's
interesting.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is that a lot of the controversy with this game was not just I know that there's been a lot of violent games that have probably been gorier than this game, but the fact that the violence became so on the forefront of what this game was about, and they even changed the mechanics to make them a little more Call of Duty-ish, with the guns having the ability to lose their accuracy as you fire, to get the shields going up and stuff like that, to make it move faster and make it more visceral, like a Call of Duty type shooter.
If you watch one of the original E3 gameplay demos, it is a vastly different game.
Right.
In that the original plan for it was much more open. Those skylines played a huge part in how different the battles could be, because you could use them to retreat.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's cool.
You could just, I mean, we'll forgive the fact that in the land of flying cities, you can jump 60 feet into the air and latch on anything.
A magnetic hook, Luke.
I know,
says it.
I know it's a magnetic hook, but all I'm saying, in one of the earlier demos from when it was first announced, you could literally just like jump, and then the skylines were like everywhere.
Right.
That's cool.
And you could go to another place, and some guys would still be shooting at you.
It was find like another vantage point.
It was slightly more open. This still keeps you relatively close-minded, even though you're not down a corridor.
Well, it's a shooter on rails because the story is linear. Because it's
right, but it wasn't always.
Right, I'm just saying. I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
No, I know, and I'm not trying to defend it at all. I don't love first-person shooters, even though I do play a lot of them. I mean, because they're games. They're games to be played. What if what's really happening here is on the tip of our tongues and we're all missing it? What if this game... Here we go. Some Mike Serif bullshit. What if this game is a commentary on our society right now as to how sex is not okay to be gratuitous or explicit, and yet violence is? Just like a Victorian-era America where you're ripping people's face off with skyhooks, and yet the girls are covered up all the way to their necks, and the guys are,
really smart.
Howdy, madam. How are you?
I was going to say that about the racism. Like, the racism gets to us more than the violence, because I think we're very... I know I am. I saw the violence, and I was like... Okay.
Well, we're sensitive to racism for a number of reasons. One, the first being is that everybody knows. I mean, everybody who's too goddamn sense about them knows that racism is an illusion.
Right.
And why would we want to live in a world where we're still accepting that fantasy?
Right.
And when it's painted out in front of us, we're like, oh yeah, why would we do that? Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. Yeah. Violence, on the other hand, is an everyday thing that we deal with. It's a reality. It's about as real as somebody getting their face smashed in, which you can turn on the news any night and see.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's something else that's happening in this game. I don't know. Maybe I'm just painting with a broad brush.
No. I mean, I think you're right. The racism when it popped up at me is what when that
this dog hates what I just said.
Yeah, right. that racism hit, and instantly I was like, oh, that's cool. Like not in like the racism's cool, but like,
right.
Oh,
it was
like
a good.
Like
they're going to tackle this.
Yeah,
right.
different
Cool.
subject matter.
Right.
Cool.
And
that's
then
like
it gets undercut by this dude getting his face ripped off.
They go
It's like,
full-
oh, we're playing video game, not
I don't
not
know.
experiencing story.
Well, I don't agree with that. Your opinion is different than mine on that matter, and
Yes.
I think that I think the racism is not undercut. I think that they were trying to take away from how heavy and serious that is. I mean, they go full tilt.
You think so? It was
They
like,
show.
That's pretty dark. That's
they
some
show
dark shit.
They show an interracial couple that are going to be.
lighting it up with this dude getting his face fucked up.
I'm not kidding. That's what I think.
It's the
They
sex.
show
It's the sex. It's like that's what it is for us.
Well, maybe that's what that. Maybe that's the point.
They
Maybe
show
that's
an interracial couple who are surrounded by the iconography of racial epithets. They're Jim Crow monkey. It's
Right.
terrible. It's awful.
Right.
And you're sitting there and you're staring at it. If you're a 13-year-old kid and you're trying to process what's going on, shoot some things.
right.
Yeah.
Real quick, what'd you guys do with the baseball?
I threw it
I
at
threw it
the
at
guy.
the guy.
Everybody?
First time I played, I threw it at the guy. Second time, because I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, right.
What'd you do? What happened?
What happens when you throw it?
Don't.
At
No, I wanna know.
Spoilers. You'll play. You'll play and find out.
I don't play this game a second time.
No, it's the same thing happens both times.
Oh.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just
Does it just like play out differently?
It just plays out differently.
So
in
you
the
throw it
sense-
at them, and then what happens?
It's
Nothing. They stop you every time.
They say
because
you're the
you raise
false
your hand
prophet.
up.
And
And
they say
everybody
AD.
sees the AD.
That's interesting. Okay.
So
I don't want to play this game a second time.
You make that choice, and that just shows you
Who
you are.
Right. Because he said that I said it in a quote. He said in a
think-
quote he wanted this game to be a mirror
That's cool.
for people to look, to see themselves in and to make judgments about themselves. And he thought it was really funny that all these groups got so in such a tiff about
because they saw themselves negatively.
They saw themselves negatively in this game.
That is interesting. It's a Mark Rothko painting. Real quick, I've been on such a kick about that recently.
You have been.
Think
you and my wife.
it's a shame. It's a shame because I love Doc Terminus in Pete's Dragon, and this guy was that sort of snake oil salesman turn of the century.
Right.
Passamaquoddy is even in Maine in that movie. Anybody know what I'm talking about? The Don Bluth Disney movie. Yeah.
I've never seen that one.
Oh, dude, and it's that he's got the top hat and like the coat and everything, like Professor Fate in The Great Race with Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon. Mm-hmm. Movie people. No,
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know that one.
so I love that imagery. I love the way that guy looked, and I was like, "Oh, look at this guy, snake oil salesman." He's like, Professor Fink," and then all of a sudden he's like the single most racist human being ever. And then the next scene you find that Vox, and he's like, "I don't care, buy a bunch of convicts from a Savannah prison, do whatever you got to do to sleep at night, Comstock." And I was like, "Oh my god,
dude.
this is so racist." I mean,
He's one of the original captains of industry.
obviously,
Yeah.
clearly, and that's obviously what's supposed to mirror. And I'm glad that they gave a voice to the indentured servants, the black indentured servants, when you're about to find Elizabeth much later, and you find those two Voxes from the janitor, and he explains what the scientists are doing. That's fantastic, and he even calls them crazy crackers, which I was like, good. I'm glad that there's a flip side to this.
Yeah, I didn't watch those two.
I found all the
picked them
Voxes.
up.
I wasn't using the guide.
I like that stuff is tackled because it's like when I watch it or play something like that, I'm like, who the fuck built this thing?
Right.
And it's like, oh, well, now it's deep, man. That shit is
And
real
most of those
deep.
people probably died or they threw them over.
Yeah.
Threw them out of
Yeah.
the city.
Those
Like, literally.
those things are interesting. They feel like a crutch, but at the same time, are we still talking about the little recordings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the phones,
No,
yeah.
the Voxes,
Yeah. It's
Well,
funny
we're just talking about the racism.
Right,
in relation
right.
to that.
I think I know what you're going to say,
But it's-
and I'm probably going to agree with you.
that it seems like a crutch, but I kind of like them. I kind of like them because it gives you something to do when you're just wandering around.
Yes.
It's like-
I think it's the laziest storytelling ever.
It's very lazy, yeah.
It's very video gamey, and it's interesting, and it does pass the time and make it, because like I'm listening to this shit, I'm like, where the fuck is that? I want to see that
Yeah.
shit. I
Well,
want all of that.
You want a flashback.
yeah,
Which is
I
not
want
a flashback,
That's
not
lazy.
lazy. Audio
Nah.
flashback, lazy.
That's the problem. No, but
No, defend yourself.
I will defend myself.
Go.
If I get to experience that flashback, when
You
I'm
wanna see it visually.
when I'm experiencing in the office, okay,
So you want video, not audio.
yeah,
But there was
You
no
want
video
wait.
then.
yeah.
You want video.
I want to learn about that
Nick,
thing.
you're not hearing what-
firsthand.
you're not understanding.
No, I understand what you're saying.
No, you're not.
No, you're not
No,
understanding.
I am.
You want video on this podcast and not audio.
The difference is the people listening.
bitch.
The difference is the people listening to this should be experiencing the video for themselves
I'm
and
just
forming the
making,
memories.
I was just making.
All right.
I know. I'm defending.
I'll defend the voxophones in that they're
'Cause the same shit was
100%
done.
optional.
yeah,
Right, you don't have to listen
I
to
They
them.
agree.
add
They add
a
stuff which
richness
is
to the world
Right.
beyond like you going in a store and watching the shoe shine guy have it.
I was
going to
say that's the nice thing is it gets rid of those like, oh, now I got to sit in this one spot and listen to
right.
exposition. Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
And you can,
Right.
and you
or
can
like
listen to them
the
anytime you want.
Nickelodeon things, you know, like it's like
Yeah.
that.
Those
too.
are kind of fun too, though.
They're cool.
They're kind of like nice little like signposts, like, oh, I'm going in the right direction.
Right.
But
I felt like in Arkham Asylum too, like they had like the recordings of them, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then now that I'm seeing like this part of it, I'm like, wow,
That's where they got it.
I
why
just like that
are
you
they
can-
recording themselves
It's an
talking in this
advancement-
conversation?
it's
How
an
did that
adva-
janitor get a Vox Pro?
Right. It's
because he was working in the science lab.
yeah.
He took the talk boy from the future.
He
and made
stole,
a box
he
for
stole
it.
it, Nick, because he's black.
But here's the thing. It is. as far
I mean, in Colombia. I mean, in that story.
it's an advancement in video game storytelling. As lazy as it is, it's taking something that was very lazy and at least updating it and making it better.
It's not
I
text
feel
you have
like
to read.
No, I feel like it's like
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like it dumbs down your audience. It's just like man, you put that much thought into that. Like,
I don't agree.
Put that in the game, man.
I don't know.
It is in the game.
No,
I don't know if people.
Mike,
it's
I
hard-
know. I'm just saying, like, put that as like
You know what
the
it
thing
is?
that you experience.
Here's what
in
it
the
is.
game as like
Hold on, Mike. Here's
a
what
thing.
Here's what it is. I know what you're saying. But they do have that in the game. They have all this symbolism that we're pulling apart. They have all these names
Right.
and mythology and stuff like that that's in the game. I don't think people are ready to look at that in games. We look at it because we're used to watching movies that way and reading books that way, and I think a lot of people do that.
Plus, it's very linear.
Yeah, and I don't think the masses are ready for that type of stuff. So these things are sort of that bridge gap between making it all inference and giving people that aren't going to infer those types of things a way to access some of that undercurrent subtext.
But they don't.
They don't. So bad. We're wasting all this awesome shit on idiots.
They don't explain things. They don't explain things that are already being explained to you. They give you more.
I know they give you more, and I want more.
Can we talk about secret societies now?
Yeah, can we talk about the Fraternal Order of the Raven?
Yeah.
And the
I love
the crows.
I love all the bird imagery in it. I love it. It's just like everywhere. It's just bird
except
imagery.
for that crow potion. It's like, how the fuck does that work?
It's a murder of crows.
How does it
How
work?
does the throwing a fireball work?
It comes from you. I mean, do the crows come from you?
You summon the crows.
How does a gun work, though? You know,
How does a gun work?
Yeah.
Well, no.
Whatever.
How does a gun work?
Yeah, magic. I get it.
You know, yeah, exactly. You don't know.
It's just
You don't know how a
whatever.
gun works.
I mean,
I know.
we know how guns work, but
but-
maybe they know how crow potion works. I
Yeah,
don't
they know how crow potion
In my
works.
head, I was like, oh, fireball. All right, cool. And then possessed ghost. And then I was like, crow. I was like, crow.
What if they're not really
crows just chilling around
No.
waiting
They're
for you to
not. They're not
fucking call
real
them?
crows. They're like energy crows.
I know.
Right.
Yeah.
They're the crow.
I'm just deciding what I want to like and what I don't want to
Yeah,
like.
that's an opinion.
It's like in this.
Mike Sadorf, captain of opinions, giving me shit about having an opinion.
No. I'm saying in this world, all the rules are there are no rules. That's just telling you what it is. You are deciding where the rules are.
I'm deciding what I like and don't like.
Yeah, I know, but you're deciding based on an arbitrary set of lines you're drawing in the sand.
Yeah, that I'm deciding because it's my
right.
opinion about
Well, that's what
it.
Ken Levin did when he picked all the technologies he
Yeah.
wanted in this game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You just pick the
Electro
things
Like
that you
Electro
like.
Horse.
Crows!
Electro Horse is fantastic. Makes a ton of sense.
Hold on. So magnetism we've had control of since ancient Rome and Greece
Yeah,
and
but
stuff like that.
but not like this.
Yeah,
Not
so I was
like
gonna say
superconductors.
when did we get the ability to create like these super magnets? What year was that?
It's like super like.
Oh, the 80s?
80s?
70s?
It's we're
Wait, what
still.
magnets? What magnets?
Like
are you
for
talking
instance,
about?
like the magnets that we attach to when we go onto those lines and stuff like
a
that.
superconductive magnet has to do with like temperature,
Yeah.
and so that's something we're still working on right
Yeah,
now.
it's still
But,
like impossible.
It's still like impossible.
Okay, so yeah, so
I mean,
there's,
you can make them. And
so there's
stuff,
an impossible magnetic tech.
not at
there.
room temperature. Yeah,
but
That's the trick.
like the
That's the
like the
trick.
magnets that we have now.
this is fantastic. Go ahead.
What year? Like what years would you say?
2013, 2013.
like the
19.
World War II. Like,
No, like,
probably, like
Oh, are you talking about
Like refrigerator magnets.
I don't know, like the 19th century?
like the yeah.
What were they? Nimion, Dion, Sanders
I
magnets?
mean,
you know what I'm
probably
talking about?
people didn't have magnets probably until like the 30s, like,
That's
when
what I'm
television and like the war brought
Exactly
like, that,
when it
right.
became like a thing that you
Yeah,
could
but
buy.
everything's anachronistic, and I assume for the same reason that you were saying about the music, is that they're taking things from the future.
That's what I'm thinking about
Like,
this too.
When you
yeah.
see those gondolas that are not the ones on the rails, the gondolas that are sitting there that bring the not the troops that have like the sentry guys on them.
Right.
There are these sort
the
of
tin
like
soldiers.
yes, thank you. They have like these engines on them, these like thrust engines, and they look suspiciously like pulse ion engines,
Right,
which we're
yeah.
developing right now,
Right.
which are based off electricity, which would make sense instead of it being a fuel. It's
They
worked off of an energy cell, which would make sense in this lightning powered energy world.
Yeah, they talked about electricity at some point.
Yeah,
right?
in the fair.
Well, it's the key. It's
Right.
the Franklin thing. It's
Right,
yeah,
all
exactly.
that shit.
So if they're ion engines, I'm like, okay. I don't have to make sense of it. The suitcase works because they press the button in
Well,
the
that's,
suitcase.
I don't want to make sense.
That's
of
how
it.
they go into Inception.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you don't have to tell me how the suitcase works. If that's what the suitcase does, okay.
Right. And
That's
Magic
the
A is
trick.
Magic A. That's fine with me.
Right. Once you explain to me why the Force is the way it is, now you're
Once you got
now you're
midichlorians.
right now you're putting it under a under a
Right.
magnifying glass.
Right.
And now I
Literally.
can literally.
And that's fine. I'm just trying to look at. I was just looking at the magnets because you guys mentioned the magnets for the skylines, and I was like, oh,
Right.
that's another technology. What year did that type of technology come
I
out?
have no idea when they invented magnets.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Especially,
Well, I mean, magnets have
They've been around
Magnets,
since Greece.
how do they
The
work?
Big Bang invented magnets.
The Greeks had
Magnetism.
magnets.
but I meant like
Because they're
magnets in the
rocks.
sense that we would know how to use them for travel. Like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
maglev trains are like not even a thing everywhere yet. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, especially in like consumer model, like skyhook magnets. Like magnets were around, but nobody was buying refrigerator
We're
magnets.
talking
Right.
about magnets.
Right.
We're not talking about the game. Not the game I go out and
Talking
die
about
for.
magnets.
We're talking about
Magnets.
magnets.
All right, but before
Philadelphia.
before we get
More sidetrack.
more sidetracked, let's talk about. Well, no, let's talk about actually getting to Monument Island.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's talk about finally getting to Elizabeth.
Right.
Right.
I fell in
you
love
go
the first
through-
time I saw her.
She looked like
hang
she
on.
looked like Tangled.
You got to get into this place, and
We fight
there's
the KKK,
all
right?
the experiments going on in there.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
All
the
the visual-
phrenology.
So Monument Island isn't just like a monument.
No, it's
It's
like
also some kind of.
It's the
flag.
statue. It's
Yeah.
the Statue of Liberty from Fringe. If you've ever
Right.
watched
Right.
Fringe,
It's-
I just
No.
spoiled a lot of it.
it's Dr. Frankenstein's laboratory.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. This
So
is
there's all like visual, like people are watching her and taking notes and stuff.
Right.
It's really cool.
It's
like,
really
and
cool.
that's
This
how
is,
you, like,
this is an idiom that you see a lot in science fiction. The magical girl, and sometimes it's the dark magical girl. Starfire from Teen Titans, or I was trying to think of another good example of that, like where it's like, oh, she's a sweet innocent girl who has magical powers, and then all of a sudden she's gonna go fucking apeshit and destroy everything.
Oh, the Batman
Serenity.
Ace from the.
Ace, yeah.
She's like crazy,
This
like
is- this is-
powerful.
And at the end of like Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah,
Ace.
and
Ace,
all
yeah.
of a sudden
Yeah,
they start
River
talking.
Tam, yeah.
They start
River.
talking about
Good one.
Anna. Is that who he's talking about? Anna.
Yeah, who you
Are they going to
assume
fridge
is-
her? Because that's a trope on top of a trope, and I don't think I can deal with that.
Are they gonna fridge her?
Yeah, she
I don't
gonna.
know who Anna is yet.
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, I don't either. Oh, he said it twice. He's called her Anna when he comes to consciousness,
Right.
which is where we stop playing.
Right, is it his
And,
daughter or
he
his
also
wife?
he also says it in his office. And fridging a girl is when you.
I know.
Right.
Women in
for-
refrigerator
Right,
is,
women in
right.
refrigerator. When the main character, who is a man, the only the catalyst for his journey is because a woman in his life dies, and so violently, incredibly violently,
Right.
and she's helpless to do anything about it. And it's usually done to actually a character who has some sort of meaning in the story.
Spawn.
No, wait, that's it. No,
that was
he's
not the
yeah,
first
yeah.
Women in refrigerators. It was Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So what I'm saying is that like the dark magical girl thing is fine. She's not really dark either, but that's okay. I was okay with
you
that.
don't
She's
know.
dark. She's Sumara from The Ring or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
No, they
yeah.
have her in a lab and they're studying her and she's showing them
Right.
the future and like it's like it's not completely original.
Did she
I
get
don't
her
care about
pinky
that.
ripped off in a time portal?
That's what I'm guessing. You see Return. So she rips open a time portal, and we see Return of the
France.
Jedi in Paris because she was drawing Paris or painting Paris. And
Wait, you see Return of the
Ambulance.
Jedi?
Yeah,
Revanche du Jedi.
it's on the
yeah,
it's on the
Revanche of the
marquee,
Jedi on the
and an ambulance flies, and everybody wants to rule the world is
Right.
playing. Did
Yeah,
you
so
not
it's-
hear that?
I didn't hear any
It's
of that.
1983. Yeah.
Oh shit, that's
Yeah, dude.
awesome.
Yeah,
I
man.
like this game more and more.
You opened all the windows, right?
yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
But you didn't see the
I just didn't
Jedi?
pick up on it. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only,
Yeah.
it says jet. That's like what you're supposed to see.
I was
is the
watching
Jedi.
it from like far away against the room because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Nick was hiding like in a fort, and he was like, "Oh."
in case
Like,
a
both
fire
of
truck
me-
comes through.
like,
here.
I was playing from across the room and I backed my guy up all the way.
I moved my controller up and down because I wanted to jump. But yeah, so I mean, there's not that I have any problem with revisiting not cliches, but like tried story for as original as it is coming up to this. I don't know. I'm getting a little apprehensive about where they're going to go with the story. I kind of feel like it's going to end up there. It's like instead of you doing this, it's going to be like Elizabeth is like, I'm burning it down, and goes Carrie like on
Right.
Columbia, and that's fine. I mean,
maybe.
but
It'd be
why aren't
kinda
you her?
I think that's better. I think that's
I think that's okay, but why aren't you her then?
because
I don't know.
you can't always be like the hero. Like, what if you're just a
Like-
regular guy?
No, that's
You're
okay. You can be a
not the
regular
girl.
guy
With,
in
you're not the girl with the dragon tattoo. You're fucking what's his name?
Right,
The guy
he's the
that
protagonist.
nobody knows the name of.
He's the protagonist
Right.
and not the hero, and I agree
Right.
with that. But this also sort of I'm wondering if this game's going to start traipsing into that territory. Luke and I were just recently talking about off the podcast about The Last of Us. Is Elizabeth a tool or is she a character?
I don't know.
We'll
I didn't
find
play
out.
enough with her
Yeah, we
to
haven't-
figure it out.
We haven't really
No,
figured that out
I'm
yet.
asking Luke.
I don't want
I
to
don't
know.
wanna
I want
know.
to experience
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I think
I think it's mean to
no,
call
this is not
her a
spoiler.
tool.
She
It's not
is,
spoiler.
she is more than a game mechanic.
Okay.
That I mean,
Right.
She's not the girl in Ico.
she's more than Ico.
Okay.
Yeah, she's not the Princess Yorba or whatever. her name
Right.
is.
I think what's nice about it,
I'm worried. That's all. I was just
if it is that, if she is the real the real character, the person that you should be, it's kind of nice because a video game trope up to now is that you were always the person with secret hidden powers, and then they were unleashed from you.
You're the 30-year-old guy with brown hair.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's
Every
nice.
video
that
game, you're a
you're-
30-year-old white man with brown hair.
Yeah,
Right.
What is it with video games and people with blonde hair? Why does that not exist in video
because
games?
of Nazis.
Yeah, you can't render them right. So you get to Monument Island, right?
Yeah.
And you see these experiments on her.
Right. You got your big like subwoofer speakers.
Yep. You got your Tesla speakers.
That I had to take. I was like headphones off. I was like, I can't listen. It was crazy.
It's pretty sweet.
You get to see all the experiments on her. and you get in.
Well, we know they're experiments because there's a Jacob's ladder going at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joke.
I know. you know their experiments on her because the whole place is set up like
Electricity.
under quarantine.
Right.
Don't go into the lab.
Right,
And
right,
every time you cross another line, it's
They airlock it.
hours.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a lie. It's obviously a system of control. It's, you know. I was too far from the mic from that comment. I'm sorry.
So then you finally get her, and she clubs you over the head with her book on quantum physics.
Right.
Which if
And
you don't look on the ground,
Which literally they're clubbing you over.
Literally
the head.
hitting you over the head with the quantum physics
Hey,
book.
this is about quantum
this
physics.
game's going to be about entanglement, which is something I guessed when they were flipping the coin. I was guessing.
And they say there's a quote. There's the quote from the
In the
doctor at
beginning,
the very beginning that's talking about.
It's and also when you hear her vox, Madame Curie, Dr. Lettuce's vox, she says not what things are, but what things aren't.
Right.
She's like, it's more important to know what they are not to understand how they are.
Right.
And I was like, that's very interesting. So up until that point, I had been deducing that this game was going to go all Matrix Reloaded on us with causality, especially because of the coin flipping. But then it hits you over the head with quantum mechanics. So I'm like, oh, so it's an intertwining of... And what better place to intertwine philosophy and physics than in a theoretical field about subatomic particles. Right. And again, the ion pulse engines. I don't know.
And the giant eagles.
Oh, there's giant eagles.
Yeah, we didn't
Higgs
talk about
boson, giant eagle.
All I was thinking when that happened, I was like, I don't want to fight that yet.
Yeah.
I was like, I am not
Dude,
good
you see
enough.
that eyeball when it did? Okay, so it gets
Before that, though,
I was like,
How about
no.
Ocean Sky?
you see the little stuffed version of it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
everywhere. I saw them everywhere.
yeah.
They were in the street. They were on the shelves.
Yeah, the kids'
Interesting.
room and
Because
stuff.
it's
A guardian.
a revered guardian and an icon
Just like
That's
America.
in the world of Columbia.
Yeah.
But then you
Cool.
get up there, and you're like, what is this little thing? Like, I mean,
It's a destroyer.
nobody was able to avoid trailers or pictures.
No,
of
no,
this
I
thing.
saw it.
I did.
No,
I
just
didn't see shit.
Oh well, okay. So then you didn't know already that was a thing you were going to see later.
I was like, oh man, I'm gonna fight the Big Daddy guy.
And especially when you see him at the fair. When you not the big guy, you see the handyman at the fair. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to fight
Yeah, I'm
those.
gonna fight
And
that
then
guy at some point.
they haven't showed up yet. I'm sure they will. But
Yeah.
But
So that was kinda
doesn't he
but then
look sad?
Songbird
It was
comes,
crazy when
and
he
he's
said that.
massive dude.
Yeah, so you plunge in the ocean, he like comes after you, and then
Right.
That
fucking
shit was
pieces
fucking
out.
horrifying.
How about
We see
Ocean
that
in the
eye, and I was
Sky?
like,
Fantastic.
fuck.
I love
Yeah, I
that.
didn't
I
like it.
love the idea of that. Everything else they put up in the sky, and then it's like there's an ocean and a beach in the sky.
Yeah,
That's
you
so
gotta have
smart.
a beach.
Leisure.
What were
strength,
people? What were
strength
people
in leisure?
What were people doing in 1912?
They were
Going
getting
to
eaten by great
to
white
the
sharks in
Jersey
Madelon
Shore.
Creek.
It's the Jersey Shore. What were people doing in 2013? Not going to the
Not
Jersey
going to
Shore.
the shore anymore. Thanks, Sandy.
Don't go to New Jersey.
No, go to
Yes,
Jersey.
but then you have that great escape,
Yeah.
Right.
which you're not in control of, which is fine.
I
because
threw up
sometimes
40
it's-
times.
Experience it a little bit. You can
No,
like
but
move
sometimes
around and
it's
stuff.
nice for a game to
Yeah.
do it.
I'll tell you,
Yeah,
it's also good for when you're not in control of a failure. I don't like being in control of a failure because I feel like it's completely artificial. And it's like if I'm going to fail no matter what, like your Mega Man fighting, what's his name in the beginning of Mega Man X, and Avile or whatever his
Right.
name is, and you're going to lose. That's cool every once in a while, but like if you were doing all this stuff and all of a sudden you fall, I would have retry before I ever hit the ground.
Or you just keep doing
So
it.
when they take it
yeah.
out of your hands, it's kind of nice that
Yeah.
guided part of the narrative.
I do really like
There's some
in this game that everything happens to you. Like they really commit that like first person view. Like it's not just like well, it's first person until we cut to the third person.
They don't
camera.
cut out
like,
of it, yeah.
Like it is you. Everything happens to you. You see your hands and stuff like that. And
Well, this is obviously very influenced by Half-Life 2.
Two.
I was,
that
when I
and
was,
Half-Life
as soon as I was playing it, I was like, "This is Half-Life 2."
That's cool.
In Half-Life 2, you get this character Alex, who's your sidekick, and this chick is supposed to be very similar to her in that she like kind of gives some story alongside it, in
Okay.
addition to being a utility and doing stuff for you as well.
Cool.
And I think he even mentioned that he was influenced by that. He like made
Game of the decade, man.
Yeah.
Game's
I like
fantastic.
that. I think it's a really it's cool. Like it really puts you in that feeling where it's like
Right.
this is happening to me.
And
The
it's
only
not-
thing
I'm this character.
The only thing that this game does that Half-Life 2 doesn't do is that it has a character that talks and
has
has
personality. It's nice
yeah.
that Booker DeWitt's a character as opposed to being,
Right.
the chief who talks at the end of the game.
Yeah, because that
You
was
know,
that was last generation's thing. It was like, oh, we're going to do all silent protagonists now
You're-
because
you're
Half-Life 2 did it. Yeah.
your Link.
Here's one thing I don't like about that though. I love that first person thing because they commit to it and they go for it. When you're in the lighthouse and you look at the fire, there's a fucking lens flare on the fire.
You hate that shit.
fucking hate that, man.
But
like,
it's the camera.
No, it's not the camera.
It
It's
is the
me.
camera.
No, it's not. Like there should not be like.
Do you ever get lens flare through your glasses?
If he had fucking glasses on, Mike, I'd be fine.
How do you
with
know
it.
he doesn't have glasses on?
Because I saw his fucking picture on the thing. On the pause reload screen, there's a picture of him. He doesn't wear glasses.
He put on his spectacles to look at the fire. He's like, "Is this a fire? I have to put on my bifocals."
It's like dust particles, and I'm like, okay, I get dust on my glasses. I can see that, but like, fucking come on, man.
I love the shield, that like yellow electricity on your eyes.
Yeah, like the glass.
That's fantastic. Because like when you like start to like red out, like if you're like a fighter pilot, because I'm a fighter pilot, when all your blood vessels start to break and your eyes start to actually turn red.
That's cool.
That's cool as shit. But I don't know, man. I don't mind that because it's a movie. It's like, okay, so if it's a movie,
That's supposed to be. I'm supposed to be that guy.
but if
It should act like.
but
it
in
should
a movie,
operate like
okay,
that.
in a movie where something is in first person perspective, and the camera is the first person, and it looks at something, is there lens flare?
Yeah, because they're operating in a physical world where they're in control of that stuff.
Or not
Are
in
they?
control of that stuff.
But you're not in
They
control,
could.
They're
always
not
in control of your
that
eyes, though. Like, your eyes can... Like, if you squint, like, you can see lens flare. If you squint at a light,
Yeah.
you can see lens flare.
You can't see them in octagons or hexagons.
You can see the beam of light. You can
but
see the light.
You don't see lens flare the way it's portrayed most times when you like look.
Well, it's
up.
not J.J.
those-
Abrams lens flare, but an imperfection
You guys
in
all
my
Booker
lens.
DeWitt
Did you guys
also-
all take like combat vigor? before we got to this?
No, it makes a good.
Get
No,
off my
I'm just
fucking
saying.
dick about
I'm just
it.
saying. I'm just saying.
You're like yelling at me about
Absolutely
it.
not. I would
No.
rather us have a conversation about it as opposed to us all being like, "Wasn't that great, bro? Yeah, high fiving around the table." my point is my point is just that what if you're squinting looking at the fire, or what if everything in the game, what if everything in real life looked exactly the way it did in the game? Then you would want lens
I don't
flare.
know.
But it doesn't. The
It's-
game is an impressionist version of the real world.
I know, but it's supposed to represent the real world in some way. So it should
It does,
operate in
some
like
way.
some sort of ways.
I can kind
But
of
our
see what you're
movies-
saying.
It's a
supposed
nitpicky
to-
thing because it's like who the fuck, nobody's gonna notice that shit.
Yeah,
They're
that's
gonna
just
be like,
something you
oh,
notice.
it's just like a J.J. Abrams thing.
Well,
you know?
no,
'Cause
I-
that's like
I
a thing.
think what it is
You
too
brought
is
my
like when
attention to
they're
it, and I think it's interesting.
they want to make it as visual as possible,
Right.
I know.
in the sense that like they want the most impactful image, and they tend to forget or not care that this game is in the first person. It's not like
Right.
you're over the
I'm
shoulder
sure there was
as a camera.
conversations about it.
Yeah,
I'm sure, and
they're
they were
it's-
like,
I feel like they're like
who
imitating
cares?
like a film thing, and they're just doing it poorly. They're
Well,
just,
this
they're
is
just
also-
imitating it because they want to imitate it. Like it's like a little brother hanging out with you. They want to do it because their big brother's doing it.
Real
you know?
quick, Moore's law of meteor
Yeah,
accuracy.
I just compared video games to being a little brother.
Moore's-
They are, though.
Hold on.
yeah.
I know, Paul.
And movies are the little brothers of books.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Moore's law of media accuracy.
And the
No,
theater.
I'm sorry. I keep on saying it wrong. Hold on. Knowles' law of media accuracy is that this is something that you have a first-hand, intimate knowledge of because you're a cinematographer, and most people don't. So to everybody else in the populace, this is truth,
Right.
regardless of how true it is to you. Just like I'm sure there's a blood splatter analysis person, I watched Dexter last night, who was like, blood doesn't do that when you stick a
Right.
hook hand in somebody's face,
probably.
but to you, you're like, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that guy could be sitting on a podcast being like, why does blood do this? And him arguing with his
Probably,
friends.
he should be.
But all I'm saying is that, like, if you're the only person with the first-hand intimate knowledge that that's not how it works, what's wrong with it working that way for everybody else?
It
if they
makes it
don't
seem
know?
amateurish.
To you, but not to the audience.
Yes,
That's fine.
That's fine. That's what I'm saying too.
to me.
I'm saying it's fine. Yeah.
Hey, everyone's opinions are valid.
So not the tea party.
We're all do you guys want to put a bow on this one? Because
Well, do we have any more comments about people who got to Elizabeth or anything like that? I'm curious
let's
to know what
see.
some people
Yeah,
said
me
that
too.
was not very spoilery.
She's beautiful.
Kyle Mays had written in about the Alex Vance thing because he said he wanted players to have a version of Alex Vance for this game.
Yeah.
Alex Vance.
That's the character from Half-Life 2.
She's the most wonderful woman on the planet.
She's like
I
video game
love
Beyonce.
Alex Vance.
Wait, you play as a
She is.
girl in Bioshock?
Half-Life 2.
In Half-Life 2.
Oh, okay, I got you.
No, you don't play. You don't.
You play as Gordon, so you can look at Alex.
Yeah.
I see. I see.
Video game Beyonce.
With lens flares.
Lots of lens flares.
And then we also had Thomas wrote in, and he wrote in saying this was a popcorn game. And I'll have to say I agree in the sense that it's a very low level gameplay mechanic in the sense that it's just shooting and stuff like that. It's
Yes.
very, but I think even after, especially after having our discussion tonight,
Yeah,
I think that the themes and the symbolism in this game are much deeper than
like Luke said.
popcorn
It's a
game.
first-person shooter as a delivery service for the story.
Yeah,
Right.
You know,
it's like having a delicious crab dip and using like pretzels to eat it.
I've eaten so many pretzels right now.
The pretzels are nothing. The pretzels are just shit. You're just trying to get that crab dip into
what
your...
do you got against
Yo,
pretzels?
What's up with Philly?
It's
You
like
got
using
Philly's pretzels.
It's
Come
like
on.
I'm trying to think of what's the most air and like tasteless. It's like eating cardboard, like using cardboard to eat crab dip. Is that better? Is that less insulting?
Salt on cardboard is the delivery system.
Yeah. Is that less insulting to you?
I'll tell you what though. I know what he's saying by popcorn. As far as like a game is concerned, this is not super investment to be good at the game, but you don't have to be good at the game. And I'm going to throw it back over to Nick. Nick, how do you feel about it? Just playing to get the story.
I think it's annoying.
You just want the story.
I want an experience
Yeah.
that doesn't involve.
You want Fez?
Playing the game.
No, it's me playing the game is exploring and finding out what I want to learn.
You want a 3D first person Fez?
Yeah,
Because that's what this game reminds me of.
yeah.
If it didn't have the shooting.
I feel like they put all this work into this world that's just like lost on like so many people. I think it's such a shame. And so like I want to like experience it.
But
like,
that's on them.
when
though.
those people were like, get off the boat, I was like, fuck you. I'm going to fucking take in this water and look how it renders. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
Like, let me fucking live this up. Don't rush me down the fucking corridor.
And that's another thing too with the skyhook violence is that up to that point you are allowed to take everything in and,
Right.
and listen
you're
to conversations.
Like, the whole point up to that is literally like, take a look around, man.
Right.
This is the world.
Soak it in. This is the world.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
in. And then now this is your world. Like now you seen it. Now you're shooting stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
and I
true.
find that stuff distracting from it.
It is,
you
and
know?
I agree with you 100%. And I wish that they had found another way, but they didn't. So it's
And
kind of what you have to deal with
I don't know
to get to the.
And I
rest
don't
of
even
it.
know if it's that they didn't find a way. It's that they couldn't because they had to sell games. You know, it's sort of a shame of. I think it might be the market that's the
I'll tell you what. Jim Quisition had an interesting piece about this game. The only two pieces of media I consumed about this game prior to playing it on this podcast were Adam Sessler's review, which is spoiler free and just talks about what a gem the game is, and it just speaks to all its to everything that's good about it. And Jim Quisition recently did a video. I'm not going to remember what the theme was. I think it had to do with the way women were portrayed in games, and it talks about how Elizabeth couldn't be put on the cover of this game because they market tested it and people wouldn't buy it.
Right.
If it didn't have some butch shooter looking guy on it
Which
to,
is why
to
they
tell you
offered
that it's a
alternate covers.
right, that it's a
It's
butch
so
shooter
weird.
game. Right, because wouldn't you think that people would buy because there's a pretty girl on it? I'll tell you what, Luke.
don't know.
You know, we missed the boat on this whole thing.
No, they
You
don't
know
want
what
to be
this
this.
game is?
They don't
You know
want
what
to
this
be.
game is. This game is Mirror's Edge, and all I wanted was Mirror's Edge to not have shooting in it. And when they added the shooting, I was like, "Fuck this game."
Well, that's because like, the thing with what you were just saying though is they don't want to demasculate you. I don't want to be a woman. I'm a man.
I do.
I'm a
I
man.
mean-
I know.
They don't sell.
Yeah.
They don't sell.
They don't sell. That's the end of the story. And to Irrational's credit, they did a whole thing where they allowed you to vote for the interior cover. So if you see, obviously on the
Right.
inside, it has a flip cover. And even then, the cover with Elizabeth lost
Wow.
Yep.
because there was one that had her and Booker, and like the image of her that's on the back of the box, but the one that won was that red insert, which is cool looking
Right.
Yeah.
in and of its own.
Because people want the shooty game. They
Right.
want to shoot things. And Nick, I agree with you.
Because
I'm
when
not-
you
I'm
when you
just-
go in
I'm
and
having
look on the
conversation,
shelf,
I just, you know,
what you want to see is a dude with a gun.
right? Because that's the game you're getting.
That's
Yeah, I just don't
I look every
understand
day
it,
in the
man.
mirror and there's a dude with a gun.
I'll tell you what.
Do you
every
really
game-
want to just spend $60 to like play shoot soldiers in the sky? Like I don't understand.
What couldn't you buy Portal as?
I don't
It wasn't a standalone game. It came in the orange box.
It's the same thing
Well, you
as
could- you
G.I.
could
buy it.
Joe's, though.
On
I mean,
PC you
why
could.
would
On
buy
PC, you
this?
could.
But there's a
And
market
eventually-
for it on PC.
Right, there's a market for it on PC, and even then, it's not. They don't play it as this is Shell and she's fighting Gladys. It's a puzzle game.
Right.
They market it to you as a puzzle game because they want puzzle people to play it.
Right, and even
not
even
first-person
Portal
shooter.
2's box is the robots.
It's
Right,
the robots,
yeah.
Right.
Yep. With the guns.
With
the
guns.
guns.
But they're not shooty killy guns, but they look
Right.
like shooty
Right,
killy
right,
guns.
Right.
Right.
Also, man, the guns take up so much screen real estate. Why does that have to do that? Why does it have to be like that?
I think that's part of
It's
it.
like I just can't fucking see.
It's
like,
that-
you're wearing
it's
like
that
fucking
thing on-
horse
it's
blind.
that
Have you
thing
ever
on
watched-
Reddit.
This is your view. If you guys could see what I'm doing right now, if we had video on this podcast, it's me holding my hand up to my eye, like straight out of my
That's how you hold
glasses,
the gun, Nick.
right? And then my other hand is out like a claw, and this is my view the entire time. It's so
Well,
ridiculous.
have you ever watched like people commenting on a game trailer for like a game with guns, and they're always like, gun's too small. Gun doesn't sound badass enough.
What?
Borderlands 2.
All they care
yeah.
about is the gun sound, the gun looks.
Gun porn.
All they
It's
care
gun
about.
porn.
Because it's their dick, and they haven't fucked yet. There it is. I know I'm dropping serious fucking knowledge.
That's true.
This is true.
Except for like Battlefield and Call of Duty, where it's more about the accuracy of the
Right.
Right.
sound of
I
the
guess
gun
that's-
and the right dimension.
I guess that says a lot about me, man, because I just want to explore that pussy. The pussy being the
That's
game
what I was-
and the
Nick
world.
Murphy, you and I, same boat.
That's right.
Nick Murphy and I doing Eiffel Towers. Boom, boom. Look up what
High
that
five
means, kids.
guns. High five guns.
You know what? To exacerbate the point about the hook violence and everything and the melee attacks, they even give you equipment that makes it more violent.
Right, you have the clothes, the gear.
Right.
You can
When
add
I
on-
hit somebody
you can
now,
flame them
they
or
turn into
electrocute
fire,
them,
and then they
right.
incinerate to nothing on the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
So it's not even like, oh, this had to be this delivery system. They really did pump it up. They put it on steroids.
Well, because they already this is a delivery system.
It was
so how do
already
we
there.
make it the most
Right.
And
And it's
it is what
fine.
it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I realized that, like, Ken Levine, is that it?
Yeah.
Ted
You know,
Levine.
That he's like, that he wants to tell the story and he wants to do these things, but I appreciate that he, like, understands the limitations of, like, his audience and stuff, but tries to, like, put that stuff in there. So, like, the boxes, like, make sense and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And they add stuff for people who want that thick-ass world that he made, you
Here's-
know, not just, like...
Here's the sad thing. You should love Ken Levine, first off, because he wanted to be a screenwriter from the get-go.
Cool.
That's what he wanted to do.
Nice.
Well, it was before he went to this too.
Right, yeah.
And the whole time I was like, this is going to make a kick-ass movie.
And,
I
dude,
forget who he worked for before.
I don't know. I know that he was into that, but he wasn't ever, like,
I
super
want to say
successful.
Donner.
Really?
Really?
I want to say he worked with Donner. I want to say
Interesting.
that, but I'm probably wrong. The internet's going to
Jeffrey?
me immediately.
Jeffrey Donner?
Getting all the names right tonight.
But I know
do you
he
mean?
worked. I know he worked in the industry before coming over.
Oh, really? Worked on Superman 2?
That was
I'm-
maybe Lethal Weapon 4. Was that the last thing Donner did?
Even
98.
Maybe.
saying that, I'm probably like the internet's already
That's
commenting
interesting.
on
Yeah.
it, and the episode hasn't even come out yet.
Well, but back to him. Yeah, right. But
Or has it?
the
In France.
the thing with Ken Levine that's sad. It's no. That's sad. That's sad. You can watch the decline in his games. He made System Shock. System Shock was a hybrid shooter puzzle game, sort of puzzle game, and like an investigative game. Like you were in the space station that was broken down and decrepit, and you were exploring it and trying to figure out what made it. You just were awoken from cryogenic stasis,
that's
and
cool.
you're trying to figure it out. So he had a lot of other stuff besides shooting in the game that you
Well,
could do.
You can almost
And
liken
Bioshock
it-
happens,
You
too.
can almost liken it to 70s film
Right.
versus film today,
Right.
And that there was a lot of risks taken,
Right.
Right.
and now there's not.
No, there's
Exactly.
none.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can watch him slowly removing the risky parts of his
Wow.
games because in Bioshock 2 or 1 rather, he has those little mini games inside of it that are puzzles and stuff
There's
like that.
hacking mini
There's
games.
hacking mini games,
and
and those are removed now. Now
Wow.
it's purely go forward and shoot.
He's
story.
trying to come up with the most effective way to get the story to his audience.
Yeah.
What way will it sell?
Right.
And I don't. That's okay.
No, I don't fault him for that.
That's
No,
that's
don't
okay
fault
for me
him.
because I want to see. I want to see the story too. Mac.
I don't
agree.
fault him. I just think it's a sad state
It
of
is, it
games,
is.
and it's just what's forcing him.
This
to
is
do
the
it.
best game we
You
get.
hear that, listener? It's
This is
your
the best
fault.
game we get.
It's your fault.
Your fault.
Think about that while you sleep.
Also, it's
this
your
is
fault
the
movies
reason that
suck.
the world we
Yep,
live in.
it's also
Because movies are terrible.
It's not our generation that did this. It's yours.
holy shit. It is. It's movies are terrible now. Video games are terrible.
Yep.
Our
Yo,
generation.
That's
was
it, guys.
great.
I'm going out.
Yours
Give me
is
some
terrible.
rat poison.
Rat boys, that'll take too long.
Take some rat poison. Go firebomb a tea party. Tea party meeting. I mean, you know, I have to go. I have to go. So, guys, what happens next week on Bioshock Infinite? What role did Wounded Knee play? Where are the Pinkertons? Tune in to find out, listeners.
That was too good.
So yeah, but we left off.
Where all the radio plays at?
And seriously, there have been a fantastic amount of hints dropped to what we're going to see in the second half of this game. What does
the
Wounded Knee have to do?
final
with
like 4/5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does Wounded Knee
Oh,
have
is
to
that
do with
only
anything?
far as we got? Oh, shit.
Yeah, we played up
It's-
to Battleship Bay.
This is
The intro.
This is
We had to move
basically
Paul.
the inciting incident.
Okay.
Is getting Elizabeth.
All right, we got the first
but
act.
it's the perfect place to stop
Okay.
because you've experienced it. You've met Elizabeth. You can see what she could do, and now you have to go. Now we got to get out of here.
Okay.
Right.
So the rest of the game is the
Escape.
boulder chasing you.
Cool.
What movie is that
lying.
from?
I'm telling you, Nick,
Jaws.
Nick, listen to the pistol. I think it's from Indiana Jones.
I think it is.
sounds
so
it's got
awesome.
that, yeah.
Cool.
It's pretty
I
interesting.
love the way it sounds.
Well, let's wrap this one up, guys. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll be going off with our finals. I'm not gonna. Should we do 5-star reviews? Should we
Do it all, Paul.
Let's do it. Why
5-star
not?
reviews? Keep talking for a
Are
little
we
bit.
going
while
to
I pull
continue
those up.
playing this game?
Yeah, let's
guys?
talk about
I'm going
that.
to continue playing the
I'm
game.
gonna play it when we get home.
Yeah,
when
but
I
shoot.
get home.
Yeah, me too.
Nobody
Now I
lives
know
with
there's
me.
that Star Wars thing and that time stuff. Now I'm even more.
Nick's going to restart the game.
I'm even
Maybe
more
you can go
willing
back
to put
chapters.
up with the
I'll tell you
bullshit.
what. I'll tell you what. I'm happy about some of the things built into this game. How you can go back to the last checkpoint. You can reload chapters. I don't think there's ever an excuse for those things to not be in a game anymore. And also, I love that this game does not have multiplayer. I know there were some industry things that we didn't really talk about, but Luke, you and I have talked about this before. How there were like certain compromises he didn't have to make, Levine, or at least Irrational didn't have to make.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm happy on 2K's part for them being like, yeah,
What,
you
were
don't
they
have
trying
to
to put multiplayer in this game?
That's why I'm Bioshock 2.
Bioshock 2 wasn't developed by Irrational. It was developed by 2K Marin.
Because they were like,
Boring.
has to be an online shooter to sell.
It doesn't make any sense. What do you have?
Paul,
Shooter on rails?
Did you hear what I said? I said
No,
boring.
it actually
What is it, Ruby on Rails?
It actually wasn't a terrible
Paul, did you hear
multiplayer
it?
component because in the
Oh, you would
they
hit the
built
fire.
they
That'd
built
be
the
cool.
narrative around it to make good sense, but it was
Yeah, you
still
heard
just
it.
kind of like it
I
felt
heard
out
it.
of place.
It's tacked on.
Right.
Just as another
Yeah.
thing to sell,
Right.
another feature.
Right.
All right.
We did it!
I can barely remember where we left off, so I'm just
I
going to
think
go.
last
with
week
it.
we said we'll remember
Yeah,
where
you
we
read
left
one
off.
that was like, I'm gonna remember this one because it's
Because it
something.
was
Yeah, it was
great
like
fix.
boner
Because I remember I
banana
said
or
I would also
something.
like Paul to say great fix
Great
more.
fix.
So here we go. Jaxel Blade wrote, "This is the best podcast I've ever listened to." Jesus,
Thanks, handsome.
that was the only podcast
Have
that
you
exists in the
listened
world.
to many?
This is the only one.
Oh no, I read this one because he says, and I once listened to Eartha Kitt in an airplane bathroom.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
Novi Yuku wrote, "Great listen. I like to reruns of Continue and ContinueCast while I'm doing pretty much anything. Endless ear sex."
Man,
Thanks.
sorry we're boring. you.
John P. 17, best podcast, gets me through Los Angeles traffic with nonstop laughs.
Don't live there.
Oh, dude, 405, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
You take the Reseda down to the 101, and then you get off at Pasadena
The 10.
Avenue.
You ever been on the 110? Am I right?
Oh no, well, we read all these ones because there's my God from Blastotron. He said Lucas Juggernaut confirmed.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Confirmed.
I'm telling you, the name was like Banana something.
Banana.
Peanut
something?
butter jelly time.
Was it
I
Bonnie
don't
and
know.
Clive?
No, that's not
There was
right.
the priest.
Whoa. Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
We almost tipped the table over.
Let's see. Second channel, Pappy 1956 wrote out. Did we do that one? Damn, I read all these,
This is a
man.
great 5-star review
We
segment.
are,
Yeah.
we are going out with a whimper.
I want to read. I want to read this one. Bonnie and Clive. This show changed my life.
For
Yeah,
the
man.
Next
How?
episode.
Oh.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Scott King Squiggle wrote, "I approve. Listening to these guys makes my pants perk up."
That name was awesome in 1997.
I'll argue that it still is. Cato's mullet.
That might be it.
Loving the show. That's the name.
That might be
Peter
it.
Kalin?
Yeah, Cato's mullet.
Ultimate house guest of the 20th century.
That name was awesome in 1997.
Yeah, there it is.
Crescendo Mouse wrote in, "Won't give you dude breast cancer."
Crescendo Mouse, I remember you.
Yeah, that's from last time because I shared that story. from
Dude,
last
breast
time.
cancer.
Oh, that's
Dude,
right. Penis Burger, Lords of the Dick Slit. Whoa. That may be the most offensive one we've ever had.
That's the best
You
comment
should
we've
stop
ever had.
there so we remember Dick Slit for
All right, fine. That's where we'll stop.
Sweet.
Thanks, Penis Burger.
God.
Guys, what does 77 mean? Oh no, the podcast is ending!
Well, guys, we'll be back in 2 weeks. We're gonna finish this game before those 2 weeks are up, so we can talk about the ending. So if you're gonna be listening to part 2, when it comes out, be done because there'll be spoilers.
Be done.
Yep.
And
Be done.
I'm going to monitor these comments.
Yeah, don't
And
say
if you
spoilers
say
this
anything,
time.
I'm deleting your shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Luke's moderating.
Jesus Christ.
Most games it doesn't matter, but I think this one is the first time it's like, don't fucking spoil it. Cause
Well, it's
it's new enough.
2 days old.
Just leave
Yeah,
comments about
right.
how much you hate me. So, because we don't read those either.
Just
Oh,
leave-
they're coming.
Just leave comments about
Dear
liking.
ContinueCast, hey, it's Nick from the podcast.
Boy,
Fuck Mike Sadorf and his opinions.
boy, I didn't know I was listening to Lens Flare Hate-a-thon. God.
Lens Flare Hater 87.
Like, do you know how much your friends hate you? Because I do. I'm a random person on the internet.
Next time you guys are going to talk about magnets for 20 minutes, let me know so I can change the channel.
So good.
Thanks, guys. We love you.
Oh,
everybody, welcome to another episode of TangentCast. My name is Nick.
I'm Paul.
I'm Josh.
I'm Luke.
I'm Mike.
And today we got a great topic. Today we're going to talk about time travel. Woo! So you can time travel and you can bring any piece of technology
From today
Anything.
from today
Anything from
back in time. What you going to do?
to a time period.
to any time period you want.
Any time period.
Condoms to the 70s.
Thank you, Luke. Society thanks you.
TangentCast over.
AIDS smote.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be
That's
gone. No, it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't.
Nah, they would have still banged without them. They'd have used those things once and
They
been
had
like, oh.
condoms in the 70s.
Yeah, and they would have been like, ew, gross.
Like, ew, get your gross slime rubber out of my face.
Slime rubber.
That's what they would say. They don't know how to use words right back then. That's what they would call it.
Slime, brother.
That's where scumbag comes from.
Oh,
That's fantastic.
That's what it comes from.
Josh,
Wait,
I love
what's
you.
that?
it's gross
That's where
to think about it.
scumbag comes from.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit, I didn't know
I
that.
learned something today. It wasn't that, though.
Ew, that's nasty.
It's
Ew.
gross.
Ew, that nasty.
Think about that every time.
That's why you
put it
don't
on your
use
dick.
them, Paul. It's
Wait,
sick.
I got it. I would bring the Whopper back to
Tuesday.
I would bring the Whopper back to like the 1920s
Oh,
man.
shit.
and set up and just roll motherfuckers for the rest of my life. My family would be
Oh,
so
dude.
set up.
You'd be well
I'd be
done.
like,
That's
ladies
pretty
and
damn
gentlemen,
good.
the Whopper. And then they'd be like,
So you'd bring one Whopper back and show it to people?
Yeah.
yeah, because I'd be like, this is what we're doing now.
It's like Wild Stallions. The entire society is based on the Whopper.
Literally like a Bill and Ted's pretending to eat a Whopper for the rest of the
World War II would not happen because of the Whopper.
Luke literally reinvents the wheel because now the wheels just become Whoppers.
It's a public works project. It's like, it's gentlemen construct Whopper.
So Luke is basically Mayor McCheese. But
No,
in-
that's McDonald's.
I know that's McDonald's.
Fuck out.
I'm the king.
You're the Burger King. The Burger King Mayor McCheese.
That's the king. That's Burger King.
Holy
Kings are better than mayors.
That's really
Kings
damn
are higher than mayors. You're right.
Oh my god.
Speaking of kings, I would take toilet paper back to the medieval times. Not like the restaurant, but like the actual like medieval
Because I
England.
used so much last time I was there, I figured I'd bring it back.
And I would rule as king. Because I would have toilet paper to dispense to the masses, then they would be like, "Oh, he is sent to us from the Lord
Oh,
above."
you mean you don't like throwing buckets of slop out the window?
No, son. Black Death, totally avoided. That's it.
Nah, it's still would have
I saved like
Yeah,
2/3 of the population of Europe. I'd be like, everybody just wipe front to
Nah,
back.
you gotta bring-
front to back to a hand you don't use to eat with.
You
too.
just got to bring rat poison back if you want to stop that, man.
I'll tell you, listen,
Soap. You gotta bring soap
I will
back.
sit on a throne of double quilted goodness and rule with a soft
Mike is
cottony
that fucking
fist.
bear with the toilet paper on his ass.
Did you guys used to do that in grocery stores when you were younger? Like make a chair in the toilet paper section and sit on it. When I was bored, when I was like 5, I would go and I would like mold out like a little
Wait,
chair.
hang on,
and
hang
I'd be like,
on.
Mom, I made a chair. I would sit on
America,
it.
think about this. When Paul was bored at a 5-year-old, he went to the grocery store and made a chair of toilet paper.
Uh-huh.
It's the same logic I just used as a 31-year-old to explain what I would do if I had time travel powers.
I was an
Who's the
architect.
real idiot here? I am.
When you were bored
I was an architect.
as a 5-year-old.
No, when he was
Yeah.
bored.
Bored.
Not born.
That's what he's.
I just
That's
said
what
when
he's
he was
saying.
I thought your problem was
No,
that you said,
Luke,
when I
bored.
was born.
My problem
when
was
I was
that when
5.
I was 5 years old and I was bored, I just picked up a stick and then I did something. like,
And I pushed a wheel down the road with it.
Yo, it's stick time, everyone.
all right, listen, you've
wheel.
seen Demolition Man. You know how Taco Bell takes over. This would happen with
And
me
you-
and the
with the
Whopper in the
Whopper.
20s.
And you also know
Listen,
about
the,
the
and
free
the
shelves.
infrastructure would be set up for toilet paper to be the most precious commodity. This is a coalescence of genius, Luke.
I would be living,
Because
and I
you're
would be
gonna
the
need
greatest
lots
toilet
of
paper.
toilet paper
I'd be the greatest
from the
toilet paper
Whoppers, really.
architect.
Paul's like Frank Lloyd Wright of shitting paper. Because
Yeah,
he's an architect.
I'm a
with toilet
visionary,
paper.
man.
Paul is literally the kid you go to the store for and are like,
Yeah, I'm gonna kill that kid.
Yeah,
I'm,
like,
I'm
man,
shaking my head.
that parent ain't
I-
watching that kid, man.
I
He's fucking
literally-
around. Now some fucking kid's gotta put that shit back on the shelf because this kid wanted to make a chair out of it.
I literally left my thumb wrestler, like Hulk Hogan thumb wrestler,
Okay. go
on
ahead.
one of my toilet
In a
paper
toilet paper.
seats,
Right, because he was king.
and I was so upset and I had to go back and get them. And that's
Well, now you know.
and it was on my seat, on my throne. I should have known that it was there because it
You
was on my
learned
throne.
not to make those.
I'm
now.
amazed your parents had
paid the
kids
ultimate
after
price.
you.
Yeah, they had like 3 more, dude.
You guys didn't like doing that?
Nah, I didn't like going to the grocery store. It sucked.
Paul, I gotta tell you, actually, it's a stroke of genius. I'm sorry I never thought of it. I feel like I robbed myself of a childhood I could have had. Man.
I spent too much time just hiding in the clothes racks.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I
Dude,
did.
That was,
dude,
that was
yeah,
where
and
it
you
was
would
at.
Close for it.
Yeah, you would close yourself into it, and then I would always look for, because I was obsessed with toys. Who wasn't? But you'd go to the clothing store like Kitty City, or like not Kitty City. Kitty City was a toy store.
Like
Kids R Us.
Clovers.
No,
Kids
Kids
R
R
Us.
Us.
Kids
Yeah,
R Us,
Kids
which
R
was
Us.
not Toys R Us, with biggest tease ever.
Right.
Sucked.
But some shirts had toys attached to them. Like little shitty toys in plastic bags.
Paul's charmed childhood.
I have no memory
Second
of this.
channel dad, shirts with toys on him, sitting on toilet paper thrones. What didn't this kid have?
Uh-huh.
Damn.
Not at all.
I just knew where to look for fun.
Any toilet paper.
I knew where to look for
because they were all in the thrones.
Right, 'cause they were in the thrones. All right, now real talk. What are we taking back in time? I mean, Luke and I are done.
I'm taking back
Change society.
I'm
forever.
taking back some of the NASA reports from this year and being like, going back to like 1960s and being like, you guys are gonna do the best we've ever done.
It's so terrible. There's no space program.
Like,
Enjoy it.
enjoy what you did because it's the only thing we're getting.
So you're bringing back disappointment to them?
No, I'm just gonna let
Maybe
them know
they'll
how
change
important their things are.
Oh,
I'll be
dude,
like,
my thing was I was gonna bring my smartphone back because if they made it to the fucking moon with like none
I
of
thought about
this,
that.
I was gonna bring this.
Nick,
and be like, look how far you can
I
go.
thought about
past
that.
the moon.
Totally.
I wanted to
you
say
totally
that.
took mine.
No. I thought,
Those are all very
Hold on.
funny answers
No,
for
no,
a
no.
tangent cast.
No. I thought about that because you can't take it back because it doesn't do anything back then.
No.
There's
You
no
said
My
satellite
answer
for it to
wasn't
work.
funny.
It still works. It doesn't work as a phone or the internet.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry, King Toilet Paper. My bad.
King of toilet paper, ruler of all he shits on, the once and future quilted king.
No, but seriously, you take that thing back. If it doesn't have the internet, it doesn't do anything.
No. Here's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say the first Star Trek episode that has a tricorder in it. The day after, you bring your smartphone back and you say,
Right.
"I invented the tricorder,"
Wow.
and they're
Reverse
like,
engineer it.
Yep.
Yeah.
and they're like, "How does it work?" And you're like, "Motherfucker, I don't need to tell you that. Secretly, I don't fucking know magic.
I know, but I'm not telling
Fucking,
you.
I don't know the fucking integrated circuit. I don't know. I invented that too."
Science is how it works, so figure it out, idiot. Just give it to them.
Fucking
Paper's
imaginary
very cheap
numbers
right
and
now.
shit.
Let's make it out of toilet paper.
They're all made out of toilet paper.
Oh, I got it.
Wearing toilet paper clothes.
Hold on, I got it. I'm gonna take Carrot Top back in time, leave him in medieval times, and be like, "Your problem now, guys."
But that's just a
Off with his carrot
predestination
top.
paradox.
That's what I'll say. That'll be my decree. Off with his carrot
That's a
top.
predestination paradox because then he'll just fuck another ginger and then that's where all gingers come from.
No, I'm gonna take him.
Oh,
I'm gonna take
Josh.
him. I'm gonna take him to medieval Europe. There's not.
No, no,
there's
but
not
to have-
a ginger there.
But for, him
Medieval
to,
Europe?
but for you to be able to have brought him back there, he would have to exist in the first place, which means that we couldn't kill him there.
I'm not killing him there. I'm leaving him there.
But then he's just gonna
They're
He
spawn.
problem
plants
now.
a seed, right?
He's
I
gonna
don't-
spawn himself.
You can go ahead.
Paul's the reason Carrot Top exists.
That's it.
Unbelievable.
It's just like your problem now, Braveheart.
Thank you for listening to the ContinueCast. Our theme music is written and performed by Chris Connolly, aka DataCats. Check out his Facebook page at facebook.com/datacats. The ContinueCast is produced by Paul Ritchie, Nick Murphy, Josh Henderson, and our special guest, Luke Brown. Email us at continuepodcast@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/continueshow, and follow us on Twitter at continueshow.
Hey everybody, this is Luke. My wife and I are game journalists, and we're currently working in the industry. And she, along with about 50 other members of the game journalism industry, some people from game development and the mental health profession, have started a new initiative called the Take This Project. And if it's all right with you, I'd like to share their mission statement. Mental health is a hard thing to talk about. Depression and anxiety can be overwhelming, but so easily dismissed as just feeling sad or needing to relax. It's far too easy to simply not talk about these problems. They sap your motivation and self-worth, making you feel like nobody cares about your suffering, and so we suffer alone, quietly. The Take This Project understands the complex reality of these problems, the immense relief on a day when you feel great, the sinking feeling when you sense the trap doors start to open underneath you, and the simple exhaustion of living when you're at your worst. It's dangerous to go alone. Take This is meant as a helping hand. We're here for empathy and for support. We share our stories and our time in the hope that anyone who is living with a mental health issue doesn't have to go through it by themselves. We've been there. We've had loved ones who have been there. And we want to help. We want to talk. We want to hear from you. We want you to live the life you deserve. Take This. The Take This project consists of around 50 members from within games journalism, games development, and the mental health profession and other industries, and is a new outreach program which you can reach on Facebook at facebook.com/takethisproject and can be found on Twitter at takethisproject. So that's something that we're helping out with, and it would be great if you guys could check it out and continue to give us support, and we'll give you support.